Chapter 48. Tang Zheng's thigh was wrapped in gauze and there was a faint trace of blood. Fang Shusha bitterly stared at him and said, "Didn't you say that it was just a fall and it was not serious? Why is there gauze and blood?" Tang Zheng did not dare to say that it was a gunshot wound, otherwise she would be worried to death. He could only pretend to be relaxed and said, "I knocked against a rock and got a cut. It's just a little bit of blood." If I don't look you will keep hiding it from me." Fang Shusha's eyes suddenly turned red. Her small hand gently touched the gauze and her heart palpitated as she asked, "Does it still hurt?" "It doesn't hurt anymore. The doctor said that it will be fine after 1 or 2 days of rest." "That's good." Fang Shusha patted her chest, her face was pink. "If there is anything in the future you are not allowed to hide it from me anymore, okay?" With that said, her slender jade finger brushed past Tang Zheng's thigh. Tang Zheng felt as if he had been electrocuted. His whole body trembled. Her finger seemed to have a magical power that evoked his inner thoughts. "Shusha." Tang Zheng grabbed her hand. Fang Shusha's body tensed up. She shyly lowered her head and let out an intimate sound. A man and a woman in a room. Tang Zheng's breathing involuntarily quickened. Taking advantage of the situation, Fang Shusha sat in his arms. "Scoundrel, what are you doing?" Fang Shusha coquettishly said. "You see that I am injured. Shouldn't you comfort me? Patients need comfort the most." "Who said that I want to comfort a scoundrel like you?" Fang Shusha shyly lowered her head. "Ari, then if you don't comfort me, I will go find someone else." "You dare?" Fang Shusha immediately raised her head. Her eyes widened as she stared at him. "You are mine. If you dare to find someone else, I." She wanted to say that she would castrate him but felt that it was too hooligan, so she changed her words and said, "I will not let you off." "Haha, with such a good girlfriend like you, why would I look for someone else?" Tang Zheng laughed heartily. "That's more like it. Seeing that you're so obedient, I'll comfort you." Fang Shusha raised her head as she spoke, and the two kissed. The two of them had already had intimate contact for the first time, so this time, they were familiar with it. Not long after, their breathing became more rapid as they hugged each other tightly. Tang Zheng's hand restlessly moved towards her chest, groping through her clothes. Tilda, Fang Shusha moaned. She was shy and anxious. That was a place where she had never been touched by anyone before. Although she was shy, she was faintly happy and expectant. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps came from outside the room. Tang Zheng woke up abruptly and let go of Fang Shusha. Fang Shusha stood up and quickly tidied up her clothes. Her face was as red as a ripe apple. She glared at him as if she wanted to say something. "Little Zheng, you're back?" Tang Dahai walked in. When he saw Fang Shusha, he couldn't help but stare blankly for a moment. He quickly recognized her and said, "Classmate, you're here. Quickly sit. Little Zheng, a guest is here, but you don't know how to greet her. How can you let a guest stand? Quickly go and pour some water." Fang Shusha said with a red face, "Grandfather, you're welcome. I heard that you were discharged, so I came to see you. Your complexion is much better." "Hehe, that's right. I already said that I wanted to go home. Even if I wasn't sick in the hospital, I would still get sick." Although Tang Dahai was puzzled as to how he got better in one night, he didn't think too deeply about it. As long as he could stay with his grandson for a bit longer, it would be a gift from the heavens. "Seeing that grandfather is better, I'm relieved." "Tang Zheng, then I'll go home first." Fang Shusha's good deed was interrupted, and her heart was like a little deer running around. She was too embarrassed to continue staying. "Why don't you eat before you leave?" Tang Zheng walked out with water and urged her to stay. "No, my family has finished cooking and is waiting for me." "Grandfather, I'll come see you next time." "Okay then, come play often." "Little Zheng, you go send your classmate off." The two walked along the small path to the main road. Fang Shusha kept her head down, too embarrassed to look at Tang Zheng. "Why do you keep looking at the ground? Could it be that there's money to be picked up?" Tang Zheng teased. Fang Shusha raised her head and glared at him, saying, "Just now it was all your fault. I don't know if grandfather saw it." Tang Zheng laughed loudly. "It's not a big deal even if it was seen. So embarrassing. If you dare to be naughty in the future, see how I punish you. How are you going to punish me? I haven't thought about it yet. In any case, you're not allowed to be naughty in the future. Okay, I'm going home. You should also go back and eat. Fang Sheshe stopped a taxi, and Tang Zheng watched as the taxi disappeared into the traffic before turning around. Little Zheng, sit down. I have something to say to you. Tang Dahai sat on a chair and said seriously. Grandfather, what's the matter? That classmate just now was your girlfriend, right? Ah! Tang Zheng was dumbstruck. His grandfather's fiery eyes actually saw through him. That girl is a good girl and knows manners. Her family's situation shouldn't be bad. Since his grandfather saw through it, then there was no need to hide it. Thus he truthfully said, yes, her family does business. Tang Dahai's face darkened, and he let out a long sigh and said, Little Zheng, I also know our family's situation. Would this kind of family take a liking to our family? Tang Zheng was speechless. Fang Sheshe's mother had already expressed her opposition, and her father's attitude was probably the same. This is reality. Even though you are very outstanding and will definitely have your own career in the future, but in the eyes of these rich people, you are still too weak. How much will you suffer in the future? Seeing Tang Zheng not say a word, Tang Dahai said with heartache, it's all grandfather's fault for not being able to give you a good environment. Tang Zheng hurriedly stopped him and said, Grandfather, don't say any more. My and Shusha's matter, we will deal with it ourselves. Her family's attitude cannot affect us. Moreover, I believe that I will definitely be able to make a career for myself. For the first time, Tang Zheng had a strong desire to stand out. In the past, he was only a simple youth who wholeheartedly studied. Now he understood that if he wanted to live a better life in this world, he needed more things and he needed to work harder. Seeing Tang Zheng insist, Tang Dahai did not try to persuade him. He understood his grandson very well and nodded, then I won't try to persuade you anymore. But right now, your most important task is to study. Everything can wait until you enter university. Moreover, if you have decided on a girl, then you must treat her well. Do you understand? Our Tang family must have a grateful heart. We cannot fail to live up to other people's good intentions. I understand, grandfather. Tang Zheng nodded heavily. Late at night. This was the moment that Tang Zheng had been waiting for. He could finally practice magic. Magic is divided into many types. It can mainly be divided into two categories, defense and offense. They complement each other and have infinite power. Tian Chanzi explained, today I will first teach you an offensive magic. This is a set of swordsmanship, but it is completely different from ordinary swordsmanship. When used with a flying sword, it can take a person's head from 1,000 miles away. But I see that in today's society, flying swords are hard to find, so it can only be used for close combat. This set of swordsmanship is called Heaven Flying Immortal. Heaven Flying Immortal? Is it the one that is shown on TV? Nonsense. Tian Chanzi reprimanded, this is my sect's profound swordsmanship. It is a real magic. How can it be confused with someone's nonsense? Tang Zheng hurriedly shut his mouth. Tian Chanzi seemed to have a lot of respect for his sect, but he was also secretive and did not speak of it in detail. But since he said that Heaven Flying Immortal was so powerful, then it must not be bad. This is the Heaven Flying Immortal's swordsmanship and mnemonic chant. Memorize it carefully. As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Zheng's mind had an additional set of swordsmanship and mnemonic chant. This set of swordsmanship had a total of 6 moves, and each move had 36 variations. Its power was infinite. Tang Zheng only looked at it for a while and discovered the subtleties of the swordsmanship. It made him feel enlightened. This was not something that the heaven-gathering hand could compare to. First, familiarize yourself with the swordsmanship and comprehend its profound meaning. If there is anything you don't understand, I will explain it to you one by one. Tang Zheng immediately began to comprehend the swordsmanship. In a short while, he had clearly memorized the swordsmanship. Now, his memory was astonishing, almost reaching the realm of photographic memory. Moreover, his comprehension ability was also extraordinary. While he was comprehending the subtleties of the swordsmanship, he also consulted Tian Chanzi about the things he did not understand. Tian Chanzi answered him one by one. Tian Chanzi's voice was very calm, but in fact, it was not calm at all. He did not expect Tang Zheng's comprehension of the swordsmanship to be so amazing. He remembered that when the sect's genius first faced the swordsmanship, his comprehension was also not as good. I really picked up a treasure. The swordsmanship has been explained to you. Next, you will practice the swordsmanship according to the swordsmanship. Tang Zheng did not practice like he practiced martial arts. Instead, he closed his eyes. With a thought, an image appeared in his mind. It was a miniature version of Tang Zheng. He was practicing the swordsmanship according to the swordsmanship. Although there was no sword in his hand, every move was exactly the same as the swordsmanship. Tang Zheng suddenly opened his eyes and took a deep breath. He found that the true qi in his meridians had been greatly consumed. His body felt like it was about to collapse. I only practiced the first move to the 15th style and I am already so tired. I don't have the strength to continue practicing. Am I too useless? Tang Zheng blamed himself. Kid, you don't know what's good for you. Do you know how much other people can practice the heaven-flying immortal for the first time? Tian Chanzi suddenly said, his voice trembling slightly. How much? Tang Zheng looked at him blankly. How would I know this? The 5th style of the first move. Ah, so little? As far as I know, the sect's genius stopped at the 10th style for the first time. Kid, you have already practiced to the 15th style and you are still not satisfied. You still say that you are useless. How do you want other people to live? Tian Chanzi was flustered and exasperated. Tang Zheng scratched his head embarrassedly and said, I don't know about this. But what style did you practice to? I won't tell you. Haha, don't tell me you don't even have the 5th style, so you are too embarrassed to say it. Who said that? I practiced to the 7th style and could be considered one of the best in the sect. Tian Chanzi hurriedly explained. However, he immediately realized that he had been tricked. He was flustered and exasperated. Kid, you are getting better and better. The 7th style, it seems that you have a lot less than me. Do you think that everyone is like you, a freak with the 9 young saint body? Tian Chanzi unhappily said. His self-esteem had been greatly damaged. Chapter 49. Tian Chanzi said in a deep voice, there are many spells, but there are many profound spells that you have no way to practice. I suggest that you focus on 2 directions. What are those 2 directions? Formations and true fire. Formations are divided into defensive and offensive formations. The requirements for offensive formations are very high, so naturally its power is also very high. Have you heard of the phrase drawing a prison? Of course I've heard of it. Drawing a prison is a type of offensive formation. Just casually draw a formation and it will trap the enemy in place. No matter how powerful you are, it will be difficult to escape the fate of being killed. Tang Zheng was fascinated and couldn't help but sigh, that's too powerful. Heh, that's why I say that your knowledge is still far from enough. However, don't expect to learn such an offensive formation now. Learning defensive formations is a good choice. However, the initial stages of defensive formations generally require the assistance of external objects. Generally, jade stones are required. You need to arrange the formation within the jade stones. When the enemy attacks, the defensive formation will automatically activate and achieve the effect of protection. Jade, where can I find jade? Of course you have to buy it. Tang Zheng's face immediately turned bitter. In order to save his grandfather, he had already spent all his money, so where would he find the money to buy jade? No, I must earn money to buy jade. Right, can this jade protect others? Of course it can. As long as you wear the jade will naturally protect you. Tang Zheng's heart moved. Now he had the confidence to protect himself, but many of the important people around him did not have the ability to protect themselves, such as his grandfather and Fang Shusha. Then hurry up and teach me this defensive formation. In addition, there is also the body lock technique. You said before that when I reach the 3rd grade refining chi I can learn this spell. The pressure point technique had saved Tang Zheng more than once, so he had long been looking forward to learning the body lock technique. The body lock technique was more powerful than the pressure point technique. It did not require physical contact and could be completed by chanting the incantation. It was simply the best choice for protection. Alright, the body immobilization technique only has a few lines of incantations. This incantation is used to draw in the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, thus impacting the person's acupuncture points to achieve the effect of body immobilization. However, the effect varies from person to person. The smoother your communication with the spiritual chi of heaven and earth, the better the effect of the technique. Tang Zheng silently memorized the incantation. The incantation was very short, consisting of only a few words. It would only take a few seconds to finish chanting. However, without a target to cast the spell on, he did not know how effective it would be. For the next 2 days, the monthly mock exam was held as scheduled. Tang Zheng deliberately controlled his score so that he would continue to be in the last position. After the exam was the last day of March, and the entire grade was on holiday. Fang Shusha originally planned to stay with Tang Zheng, but because of a guest at her house, she changed her plans at the last minute. Tang Zheng was at a loss as to how to make money. He could not continue to fight. Was he supposed to work? Don't be ridiculous. How much can you earn from doing odd jobs? Buying jade would cost a lot of money. The least would be tens of thousands, and the most would be hundreds of thousands. This was a huge sum of money. Tang Zheng was just an ordinary high school student. How could he earn so much money in such a short period of time? Boss, today is a rare day off. Come with me to a place. Feng Yong suddenly called. Where are we going? You'll know when we get there. I guarantee that this trip will not be in vain. Feng Yong mysteriously said. Since Tang Zheng had nothing to do, he agreed. Not long after, Feng Yong drove in front of Tang Zheng. Feng Yong, you know how to drive. Tang Zheng looked at him in surprise. Driving is not difficult. Boss, you're so smart. You'll definitely be able to learn it. Tang Zheng actually had the idea of learning how to drive. However, he had to study and cultivate at the same time. He had no time to do so. He could only wait until after the college entrance exam. Boss, the place we're going to today is quite interesting. There's a lot of fun. Feng Yong excitedly said. Oh, just what kind of place is it that makes you so excited? Here, hi, I'll keep you in suspense. You'll naturally know when we get there. The car sped all the way to the suburbs. A large building complex appeared in front of them. The greenery on both sides of the road became more and more beautiful. It was truly a place filled with green trees and surrounded by small rivers. It was completely devoid of the hustle and bustle of the city. The car stopped in front of the building complex. Feng Yong handed over an invitation card. A man wearing a black suit and headset opened the door. He looked like a bodyguard from the movies. As the car drove in, Tang Zheng felt that the scenery inside was even more beautiful than outside. Hundreds of flowers bloomed. Not far away was a huge lake and a golf course. In the distance, one could even faintly see Changheng Mountain. This is our destination, Ordinary Balance Courtyard. It is said that in ancient times, it was the imperial palace. Look at those ancient buildings. Many of them are relics left behind from ancient times. Later generations built many new ones. That's why it has become like this. This is where many successful people of ordinary balance live. Feng Yong introduced. Tang Zheng nodded. He did not say a word. He already knew that Feng Yong's family was not ordinary, so he was not surprised. Boss, you're really amazing. The first time I came here, it was like Granny Liu entering the Grandview Garden. But you didn't react at all. This must be what my father meant by being indifferent. My father will be here in a while. Let's play first. Boss, there's everything here. What do you want to play? I'm not familiar with it. You decide. Tang Zheng lightly said. He was not completely unsurprised. Seeing such a luxurious place for the first time, no matter who it was, they would be surprised. But with the increase of Tang Zheng's power, his state of mind had undergone a great change. He no longer completely showed the changes in his state of mind on his face. There's something fun here that you can't find anywhere else. Come, I'll take you there. These buildings were like ancient palaces. They were richly decorated and extremely luxurious. A moment later, the two arrived at a large hall. Casino. Tang Zheng was surprised. Haha, that's why I said this place can't be found anywhere else. The ordinary balance courtyard's backer is very awesome. So this casino is very safe. Many people gamble here. It's simply the ordinary balance's Las Vegas. You play, I'll just watch. Tang Zheng only had $100 on him. He couldn't even gamble a single round. Moreover, he was not in a good position to do this. How can that be? Boss, I brought you here, so how can I let you watch? Hehe, look, this is my little treasury. There's $200,000 inside. It's all the pocket money I've saved up over the years. I've already prepared it. Today we're going to kill and win big. Feng Yong's eyes shined like a pervert seeing a naked beauty. For the first time, Tang Zheng discovered that Feng Yong actually had the potential to be a gambler. But he remembered his grandfather's teachings. 10 gambles, 9 losses. He wanted to persuade Feng Yong, but he was worried about ruining his mood, so he didn't say anything. Boss, here's $200,000 worth of chips. We'll split it in half. Let's play separately for now. Later we'll see whose results are better. Feng Yong stuffed the chips he had just exchanged into Tang Zheng, and then rushed to the gambling table. Tang Zheng shook his head and helplessly sighed. The uncertainty of gambling was too great. He wouldn't risk Feng Yong's money. He knew that even if he lost it all, Feng Yong wouldn't let him pay it back. But he wouldn't do that. Tang Zheng strolled around the casino. It was very big, and there were all kinds of gambling. There was even a separate room on the second floor. Kid, aren't you worried about money? This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Tian Chan's voice suddenly sounded. You mean gambling? What if I lose? It's not my money, it's Feng Yong's money. With me here, you'll still lose. You're simply insulting me. Tian Chanzi said indignantly. What do you mean? You mean you have a way to win money? Of course, with me here, it'll be hard for you not to win money. Tian Chanzi boasted proudly. Tang Zheng's head moved. If Tian Chanzi had a way to win money, then this was the fastest way to earn money. Okay, I'll bet. Tang Zheng made up his mind. In this society, it was hard to do anything without money. Moreover, he also knew that in the future, he would need money in many ways, so he had to earn money as fast as possible. Tian Chanzi, what method do you have? I can tell you the other person's cards. Tang Zheng was very happy. No wonder Tian Chanzi was so confident. If he could see the other person's cards, then he could definitely win money. Then let's play Golden Flower. Among the gambling here, this was a game that Tang Zheng was slightly familiar with, so he went straight to the gambling table of Golden Flower. It just so happened that one person had lost too much, so he threw his cards away and stopped playing. He kept muttering, F***ck, this position is too unlucky. I've lost 500,000 yuan. I'll go change my position and play something else. Tang Zheng sat down. The others glanced at him and signaled the beautiful dealer to deal the cards. The dealer glanced at Tang Zheng and quietly dealt the cards. There were 5 people at the table, and each of them got 3 cards. The 4 people didn't look at their cards, but Tang Zheng directly picked up his cards. The other people showed a look of ridicule. They thought that another person had come to give money. Looking at Tang Zheng's unfamiliar appearance, it was obvious that he didn't gamble often. The starting bet was 1,000 yuan. The dealer started to bet, and directly put down 2,000 yuan. The second and third also put down 2,000 yuan. It was Tang Zheng's turn. Tang Zheng had already looked at his cards. If he followed, he would have to bet 4,000 yuan. Everyone looked at him. He seemed to be thinking, as if he was weighing the pros and cons. In fact, Tang Zheng was very happy. Before he looked at his cards, he had already learned his cards from Tian Chanzi. He just picked them up to verify Tian Chanzi's words. Tian Chanzi's words were true. Tian Chanzi also told him the other people's cards. This time, his luck was bad. He was the worst among all of them, so he didn't plan to gamble and directly folded. The others looked at him with ridicule. He was too timid. He was indeed a newbie. If you were always careful in gambling, you wouldn't win money. Gambling was about gambling. If you were too careful, you would lose more in the end. This game ended quickly. In the end, the fat man diagonally opposite Tang Zheng won nearly 100,000 yuan. Tang Zheng said that if he didn't have Qian Chan's help, he might have lost all the chips. Chapter 50. This time, Tang Zheng did not look at his cards. He followed the others and placed a $2,000 bet. The others were secretly delighted. Young people were impatient. After losing the first round, they immediately lost their cool. After the first round of bets, one person looked at his cards. Tang Zheng was still sitting calmly because he already knew all the cards. This time, his cards were the biggest, so he was not worried at all. The person who looked at his cards found that his cards were not bad. He revealed a happy expression and continued to bet. After the second round of bets, 4 people placed bets while one person placed bets. Next, 2 people looked at their cards. One of them sighed and folded his cards. It was obvious that his cards were too small. The other person did not move. It seemed that his cards were not bad. Now, there were 4 people left at the table. Tang Zheng and the fatty who had won the previous round did not look at their cards. The fatty sat calmly and seemed to be full of confidence. He was clearly an old gambler. After the third round of bets, Tang Zheng pretended to look at his cards. The fatty also looked at his cards. He did not move, making it difficult for others to see his cards clearly. However, Tang Zheng already knew his cards. The fatty had a pair of aces and a king. His cards were the biggest after Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng had a straight of 4, 5, 6, and was the biggest card on the table. One person saw that he had already placed 3 rounds of bets and directly competed with the fatty. He shook his head in annoyance as he lost. The other person stared at Tang Zheng and also sadly folded when he competed with him. In the end, only Tang Zheng and the fatty were left at the table. The fatty looked at Tang Zheng and smiled. "Young man, your luck is not bad." Tang Zheng smiled and said, "I'll count on your auspicious words." The 2 of them placed 2 more rounds of bets. There were already tens of thousands of dollars on the table. The fatty's expression changed slightly. He stared at Tang Zheng and said, "I don't believe that your luck is really that good. I'll open you." The result was self-evident. Tang Zheng won. The fatty looked at Tang Zheng suspiciously. This was the first time he folded without hesitation, but this time he persisted until the end and won. It was really strange. However, Tang Zheng's cards were not small, so he should have persisted. The game continued. With the help of Qian Chanzi, Tang Zheng was like a god. After a while, the chips in front of him were piled high. He had won nearly 500,000 yuan. He lost and left the table. Everyone gradually realized that Tang Zheng did not win every time. He would lose sometimes, but he always won more than he lost. As long as he persisted until the end, the winner would definitely be him. It was as if he had known the cards beforehand. But how was that possible? F***ck, I can't play this card anymore. The other 3 picked up their remaining chips and stood up. They looked at Tang Zheng as if he were a monster. The people nearby also noticed the situation here. They gathered around and discussed. "Deal the cards." The fatty did not admit defeat. The fatty did not dare to be careless and directly looked at his cards. His eyes flashed with joy, but he pretended to be calm. This was because his cards were 3ks. This was already considered a super big shot in the Golden Flower game. He was confident that he could win this game. He could not help but regret looking at his cards. If he had known that his cards were so good, he would have kept betting and won all the chips in his opponent's hand. However, if he let his opponent escape with such good cards, it would be a pity. Thus, he pushed over 500,000 yuan worth of chips in front of him and said, "I'll bet all of it. Let's compete directly. I don't believe that your luck is really that good. You've already seen your cards, but your opponent hasn't. Aren't you bullying him?" Someone spoke up. "Shut up. I'm the one betting, not you. Young man, do you have the courage to do so? If your luck is really that good, Then all the chips in front of me will be yours. The fatty provoked and tempted at the same time. Tang Zheng's face was calm as he said, since you also say that my luck is good, then I'll take advantage of your auspicious words and gamble. Tang Zheng pushed over 500,000 yuan worth of chips in front of him, as if he really did fall for the opponent's provocation. Boss. Suddenly, Feng Yong came in. When he saw the chips in front of Tang Zheng, his eyes widened in disbelief. Boss, you won this much? Today's luck is good. How are your results? I lost it all. Feng Yong hung his head dejectedly and said embarrassedly. He looked at the situation on the table and asked in surprise, you want to bet all of your chips? Seeing Tang Zheng nod, Feng Yong immediately advised, Boss, it's too risky. The opponent has already seen his cards. Looking at his confident appearance, his cards must be very good. You haven't seen your cards yet, so you're at a disadvantage. Hihi, everyone says that my luck is good, so I also want to bet on my luck. Tang Zheng said indifferently. Feng Yong sighed, Boss really is the boss. This boldness is extraordinary. Although Feng Yong's family was well off, he did not have such boldness. Seeing that Tang Zheng had made up his mind, as a younger brother he naturally could not lose face for his boss. He passionately said, I believe in you, boss. This time we will definitely win. But in his heart he sighed. Although this was my hard-earned savings, but I have already lost it all. If boss also loses, then it doesn't matter. Young people are really too inexperienced. The others sighed in pity. The fatty's sinister intentions were too obvious. Tang Zheng ignored the other people's gossip and directly said to the fatty, then you open your cards. 3 kings. The fatty threw his cards and heroically said, wow, he can even get this kind of card. His luck is really good. No wonder he would bet all of his chips. This time that young man will definitely lose. Feng Yong's face was very ugly. Needless to say, he would definitely lose. Boss, let's go. Feng Yong dejectedly said. We haven't opened our cards yet. How can we leave? Tang Zheng lightly said. Feng Yong dejectedly said, Boss, he has 3 kings. It's too big. We will definitely lose. That's right. Young man, let's go. Don't be so impulsive in the future. The others advised. The fatty provocatively looked at Tang Zheng. He proudly said, don't you think that your luck is good? You want to be a deserter without opening your cards? Haha. Everyone says that my luck is good today. I also think that my luck is not bad. So the outcome is still not decided. Tang Zheng loudly said, Feng Yong, help me open my cards. Boss, it doesn't matter if we lose. Let's go. Open your cards. Feng Yong helplessly opened his card. It was an ace. The others all shook their heads. It was only an ace. In front of 3 kings, it was still insignificant. The second ace. 2 aces. His cards are not small. This young man's luck is really good. Someone exclaimed. What's the use of being good? It's only a pair of aces. We will still lose. Someone retorted. Who knows, maybe he'll get 3 aces, said someone who didn't want to give up. Haha, are you awake? How can 3 aces be so easy to get? Moreover, 3 aces against 3 kings. The probability is too small. The probability is small, but it's not impossible. Quickly open your cards. Someone urged. Feng Yong looked at Tang Zheng and said in his heart, could it really be 3 aces? He was a little excited and slowly opened the third card. The third ace. Wow! Someone exclaimed in amazement. It was really 3 A's. It was too unbelievable. The fatty's smile immediately froze. He was like a puppet as he stared blankly at the 3 aces. How could it be so coincidental? Feng Yong witnessed this miraculous moment and even personally participated in it. He couldn't help but excitedly jump up and laugh. Haha, 3 aces. We won. Boss won. Everyone looked at Tang Zheng with a bit of shock in their eyes. This little handsome guy's luck was truly heaven-defying. He was simply the god of gambling. Moreover, he was unfazed by anything. He simply had the style of an otherworldly expert. Impossible. That's definitely cheating. Fatty suddenly screamed like a madman. The others all revealed looks of disdain. Cheating. Please, there were so many pairs of eyes watching. Moreover, he didn't even look at his cards. How could he cheat? Moreover, who would dare to cheat in the ordinary balance courtyard? Did he not want to live anymore? Hey, Fatty, don't slander others. A loss is a loss. There are so many pairs of eyes watching. Feng Yong disdainfully said. The Fatty was speechless. He also realized that the situation he spoke of was impossible. This could only be attributed to Tang Zheng's luck being too good. Or perhaps he was seeking his own death. Boss, let's not play with this kind of tasteless person. Let's go play something else. Feng Yong said. Let's not play anymore. Your father should have arrived. Let's go. Tang Zheng had already won 1 million after deducting 100,000. This was not considered much in the casino. But after causing such a ruckus, it really was too eye-catching. Moreover, this amount of money was enough for his recent expenses. So he chose to leave. Boss, your luck is so good. You should continue to kill. Feng Yong excitedly said. Tang Zheng shook his head and said, luck cannot always be good. We should quit while we are ahead. Ari, that really is a pity. Feng Yong said regretfully. The two of them went to exchange for chips. Feng Yong, this is the 1 million we won. You and I will each take 500,000. Tang Zheng said. When Feng Yong heard this, he hurriedly shook his head and said, how can that be? This was all won by you. How can I take your money? If I did not have your capital, even if I had good luck, I would not have been able to win this money. So half of the credit goes to you. No, this is all because of you, boss. If I were to gamble by myself, I would have already lost everything. So the most I want is 200,000. Tang Zheng tried to persuade him again, but Feng Yong persisted. With no other choice, Tang Zheng could only transfer the remaining 900,000 into his card. In the monitoring room, a handsome man with sharp eyebrows and bright eyes watched the replay with interest. In the end, the screen froze on Tang Zheng's calm face. He could not help but mutter to himself, he is very confident. It seems that he already knew the cards. Haha, interesting. Such an interesting little fellow appeared in the ordinary balance area. As he said this, he turned his head to look at the old man beside him. The old man was drowsy, as if he was dozing off. Qin Lao, did you see any clues about him? Qin Lao opened his eyes and glanced at the screen. He shook his head and said, he did not cheat. As for the method, my old eyes are not good enough to see it. Chapter 51. When Tang Zheng saw Feng Yun, he immediately confirmed that he and Feng Yong were father and son because there were some similarities between their eyebrows. Feng Yun had the calmness and magnanimity of a middle-aged man, but he also did not have the arrogance of 1,000 miles away, making people feel very close to him. Feng Yun sized up Tang Zheng while saying with a smile, Little Tang, your name is like thunder to my ears. My family's little brat talks about you every day, praising you to the point that you are like heaven and earth. Seeing you today, I can see that you are indeed a talent. This little brat finally has a good eye. Uncle Feng, you flatter me. Tang Zheng lightly smiled. No, I have never seen my family's kid so convinced before. You are the first. I heard that you specially made a revision plan for him. During this period of time, he is much more diligent than before. When he came back yesterday, he told me that this month's mock exam will definitely be better than before. Feng Yong and I are friends. Helping each other is something we should do. Haha, right. You should make more friends at your age. Let's go, the auction is about to start. Let's go in first. Tang Zheng looked at Feng Yong and did not know what auction it was. Feng Yong shrugged his shoulders and said in a low voice, the auction is not interesting at all. A group of people pretending to be cultured. It is not as fun as the casino. You 7 went to the casino? Feng Yun casually asked, did you win or lose? Feng Yong beamed with joy and said, Dad, you don't know how cool Boss was. He was simply the god of gambling. He easily won 1 million. Feng Yong looked at Tang Jing with astonishment and said, Little Tang is good at gambling? No, I was just lucky. I don't usually gamble. Feng Yun solemnly nodded his head and said, "Gambling a little is good for the mood, but gambling a lot is bad for the body. Especially you young people must remember. Tang Zheng once thought of gambling to make money. He had Tian Chanzi to cheat. Not to mention millions, even millions would not be difficult. But later he rejected the idea. Gambling was not the right way to do it. Moreover, if you won so much money, wouldn't others be jealous? Although he had a lot of skills, but he would also get into trouble. The gains would not make up for the losses." Feng Yun's words hit the nail on the head, causing his favorable impression of Feng Yun to multiply. "Little Yong, the auction is not completely a show of culture. This is an opportunity to train one's decisiveness and foresight." Feng Yun educated. Feng Yong curled his lips and said disapprovingly, "Anyway, I feel that it's very boring. However, with my boss accompanying me today, it's a little more interesting than before." Feng Yun helplessly shook his head and said, "Little Tang, look at how lazy he is. I really can't help it. Uncle Feng, everyone has their own interests. Feng Yong's interests just don't lie in this. Sigh, I don't expect him to have any great achievements. As long as he doesn't squander away the family business that I worked so hard to earn, everything will be fine." Tang Zheng's heart skipped a beat. He still didn't know what Feng Yong's family did. Feng Yong was secretive about it, so he didn't ask directly. "Hi, Feng Yun, all you do is fiddle with shameful things and you still want your son to inherit your father's business. You really are bold." Suddenly, a person said in a strange tone. Looking towards the source of the voice, Tang Zheng immediately saw a familiar face, the fatty who just lost to him. Feng Yun frowned and said, "Jiang Dali, I don't need you to tell me what to do with my business. You should just mind your own business." "Haha, I also don't want to tell you what to do. For a grown man to fiddle with such shameful things like sex toys, it really is shameful," Jiang Dali jokingly said. Feng Yong heard this and his face turned red. He lowered his head in embarrassment. Tang Zheng suddenly realized why Feng Yong was secretive about his family business. So his family was in the sex toy business. Suddenly, Jiang Dali saw Tang Zheng and was slightly stunned. "It's you." Tang Zheng coldly said, "It's me." Little brat, so you and the one surnamed Feng are in cahoots. You don't learn good things at such a young age, associating with this kind of person," Jiang Dali disdainfully said. Tang Zheng did not bat an eyelid, but Feng Yong was angry and anxious. He said in a low voice, "Dad, just now boss won this fatty's money." Feng Yun looked at Tang Zheng with admiration and said, "Jiang Dali, so you lost to little Tang in gambling. Didn't you always brag that your card skills are unparalleled? I think this is too much of an exaggeration." This brat is just lucky. Feng Yun, it seems that you will be participating in the auction later. Be careful not to get hit. Thank you for your good intentions, but you don't need to worry." Jiang Dali glanced at Tang Zheng again, and then left in a huff. Feng Yong looked at Jiang Dali's back and said, "Dad, who is this person? Too hateful. Just a clown. Come, let's go in." Tang Zheng and Feng Yong walked half a step behind Feng Yun. Feng Yong stuttered and said, "Boss, if you know that my family is in this business, will you look down on me?" Tang Zheng suddenly realized that it was because of this that he did not want to tell him. Tang Zheng coughed and said, "Feng Yong, there is no distinction between high and low in business. No one has the right to look down on you. I will also not look down on you. Do you understand?" Feng Yong seemed to understand but not fully nodded and said, "Boss, I understand." Feng Yun's mouth hooked up into a faint smile as he said in his heart, "Little Yong has always rejected this business. Perhaps Tang Zheng can change his mind." The auction hall was already filled with people. Tang Zheng and the others found a seat and sat down. Feng Yun introduced, "Ordinary Balance Courtyard's members are antique enthusiasts. Therefore, they will regularly hold auctions. In addition, antique enthusiasts will also conduct private transactions. After the auction, there will be a trade fair where everyone will take out their treasures or exchange them with others or sell them. The antiques in the auction will not be fake because the Ordinary Balance Courtyard will appraise them in advance. But in the trade fair, it is inevitable that there will be fakes because this is a private transaction. The ordinary balance courtyard will only provide the location and will not guarantee the authenticity of the antiques. Feng Yong curled his lips and said, the trade fair is purely a scam. The slightest bit of carelessness will cause an eyesore. Eyesore? Tang Zheng suspiciously said. Yes, eyesore is a jargon. It means to buy a fake. Feng Yong explained. After the auction, you can go take a look at the trade fair. If you are lucky, you can also find some treasures. Feng Yun suggested. Feng Yong's eyes lit up and said, Boss, your luck today is exploding. Who knows, maybe you can even find some treasures. Tang Zheng smiled. He did not know anything about antiques. It was also unlike gambling where he had Tian Chanzi to cheat. How could he have such good luck? When the auction started, the handsome guy from the surveillance room came out and sat in the front row of the VIP seats. There were a total of 3 VIP seats in the auction hall. Only people with special status could sit there. Even the ordinary balance courtyard's municipal committee secretary did not have the qualifications to sit there. Therefore, under normal circumstances, these 3 VIP seats were always empty. Everyone was trying to guess who this handsome guy was. He was unexpectedly treated as a VIP by the ordinary balance courtyard. But he was clearly a new face and no one had a clue. The auctioneer walked up to the front stage and gave a welcome speech. The auction began. Tang Zheng had only seen this kind of scene on TV before. He was very interested and attentively watched the auction. The bidding was very fierce and the first item was sold for a high price. These auction items are all guaranteed by the ordinary balance courtyard to guarantee their authenticity. Even if the price is a bit high, it will not be too eye-catching. Feng Yun carefully explained. Dad, are you going to make a move today? Feng Yong curiously asked. Feng Yun said, let's first see if there are any treasures worth bidding for. The next item's specific age cannot be verified. But it is definitely an antique. This is an ancient Daoist's alchemy furnace. The starting price is 500,000. The auctioneer loudly said as he pointed to a simple and unadorned alchemy furnace that was half the height of a person. Can't be verified? The crowd began to discuss. This argument had never been made in the ordinary balance courtyard. After all, the ordinary balance courtyard's strength was extraordinary and they had a specialized appraisal grandmaster. If the age cannot be verified, then the value of this item will be greatly reduced. Maybe it is a treasure. If someone were to buy it and take it back, they would make a huge profit. Maybe they would lose a lot of money. It's not like everyone doesn't know the ordinary balance courtyard's appraisal grandmaster. Since he was unable to identify the origin of this alchemy furnace, then how many other people would have the ability to do so? Yes, that's why it's best to be careful. Feng Yun shook his head. He clearly had no interest in this alchemy furnace. But when he turned his head he discovered that Tang Zheng was staring at the alchemy furnace. His eyes were burning with passion. Feng Yong also discovered his strangeness and curiously asked, Boss, why do your eyes look like you're looking at a beautiful woman? Aren't you a bit too thirsty? Tang Zheng was indeed very thirsty because Tian Chanzi was already excitedly screaming, Haha, the 9 revolving alchemy furnace. You actually encountered the 9 revolving alchemy furnace here. Little brat, you must obtain this treasure. You must obtain it. What kind of treasure is this 9 revolving alchemy furnace? The 9 revolving alchemy furnace is an earth-level treasure. It is a high-quality alchemy furnace. But I don't know why such a treasure would appear here. Heaven Monk was extremely puzzled, but it was immediately replaced by joy as he continued to speak. Let me tell you, magic treasures are divided into 4 levels: heaven, earth, profound, and yellow. Heaven-level magic treasures can be encountered but not sought after, so earth-level magic treasures are extremely precious. In the past, many people died trying to snatch the 9 revolving alchemy furnace. I never thought that it would be so easy for you, little brat. Hey, even I am a bit envious of your luck. Tang Zheng's head moved. He had already seen the wonders of alchemy, so he attached great importance to alchemy. It was just that he had never encountered a suitable alchemy furnace. Now that he encountered such a treasure, he would definitely not let it go. Boss, you wouldn't want to buy this dark and swarthy alchemy furnace, right? Feng Yong asked in surprise. Feng Yun saw this and hurriedly advised, "Little Tang, this thing is too mysterious and the uncertainty is too great. It is very likely that you will suffer a loss. You should be careful." Tang Zheng said, "Careful my ass. This kind of treasure can only be encountered but not sought. I must obtain it." Chapter 52. The bidding for the 9 revolving pill furnace began with a starting bid of 500,000. Someone bid 600,000 and soon another bid 650,000. After that, no one else raised their paddle. It was clear that everyone had the same concerns as Feng Yun. The auctioneer was a bit embarrassed as this was completely different from the previous intense atmosphere. 650,000 going once. Are there any higher bids? No one answered. 650,000 going twice. When Tang Zheng saw this, he was secretly delighted. These people did not know what was good for them, so he had profited. 660,000. Tang Zheng raised his paddle. The auctioneer raised his eyebrows and said, 660,000, is there still a bid? Tang Zheng was nervous to death as he silently prayed that no one else would bid. The handsome guy in the VIP section turned his head to look at Tang Zheng, his eyes slightly fluctuating. 660,000 going once, 660,000 going twice, 660,000 going thrice, sold. The auctioneer made the final call and the 9 revolving pill furnace belonged to Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng let out a sigh of relief as the feeling of picking up a bargain was truly wonderful. Feng Yun secretly sighed as Tang Zheng was still too young and impulsive. Feng Yong suspiciously looked at Tang Zheng and asked, "Boss, is there something special about this furnace?" Sigh. After interacting with Tang Zheng for a while, Feng Yong knew that Tang Zheng would not speak without thinking. Seeing him attach so much importance to this furnace, he began to have doubts in his heart. "This furnace is useless to others, but it is very useful to me," Tang Zheng said with satisfaction. "Boss, you're not a daoist. Could it be that you still want to refine pills?" Feng Yong had a suspicious look on his face. Tang Zheng faintly smiled and declined to comment. When the auction ended, Feng Yun did not make a move as if there was nothing that interested him. He was rather regretful and unwillingly said, "Let's go take a look at the trade fair and see if there are any treasures worth buying." The trade fair was in a small hall with many stalls. It was a bit like an antique street, but a bit more advanced. "You two go play by yourselves, remember not to run around," Feng Yun excitedly said and then went to Daobao. "Boss, there are too many fakes here. You have to be careful." Tang Zheng smiled and said, "I'm not a rich man like you. Why would I act recklessly? Boss, I'm actually a poor man. My dad is rich, but that doesn't mean I'm rich. Moreover, you were much more generous than me just now. 660,000. I've never bought anything that expensive before. Let's go, let's take a look around." "Oh right, is there anyone selling jade here?" "Yes, but they are all ready-made polished jade wares. There are no raw stones or the like. I want the finished product." Since he had cultivated a defensive array formation, Tang Zheng naturally wanted to carve the array formation into a jade stone and give it to someone important to him. "Little brother, you want to buy a jade artifact?" Suddenly, a person stood beside the two of them and asked with interest. Tang Zheng was slightly stunned and looked at the person in surprise. This person was actually the handsome guy who was sitting in the VIP seat earlier. "Yes," Tang Zheng said. "Regarding jade artifacts, I only know a little. I can give you a little reference," the handsome guy said with a smile. "If that's the case, then many thanks," Tang Zheng lightly said. The smile in the handsome guy's eyes became wider and said, "I still haven't asked how I should address you." "My name is Tang Zheng." "Good name." The handsome guy praised, "I'm Song Yu." "Oh, it seems you have a lot of affinity with jade," Tang Zheng said. "My mother is obsessed with jade, so she gave me this name," Song Yu explained. Tang Zheng nodded. Like his name, he really was like a piece of warm jade, sparkling and translucent. "This is my good brother Feng Yong." "Hello." Song Yu nodded reservedly. Obviously, he didn't have much interest in Feng Yong. The several people arrived in front of a jade artifact stall. The boss hurriedly greeted them and warmly asked, "What would you like to buy?" "A few simple jade ornaments. Here are jade buckles, jade guanine, jade Buddha, jade bracelets, etc. What do you need?" "Men wear guanine and women wear Buddha. I can buy a jade guanine for grandfather and a jade Buddha for Shusha." "Oh right, I can also buy a jade Buddha for Yi Ding Dang. After all, she is still being secretly coveted." Tang Zheng had an idea. He went straight to the point and said, "Boss, pick a jade guanine and 2 jade Buddhas for me. In addition, Feng Yong, what do you like?" "I'll give you one." "Ah, give it to me." Feng Yong was surprised. He didn't think that he would also have a share. Seeing that Tang Zheng didn't seem to be joking, he quickly said, "I'll buy it myself." He knew that Tang Zheng wasn't well off. Although he won 900,000 today, he spent it quickly. "I said I'll give it to you. Don't be long-winded." "Okay, I want a jade buckle." "Mr. Song, then I'll have to trouble you to help me check." Tang Zheng didn't know anything about jade, so he could only ask Song Yu for help. Song Yu faintly smiled and directly picked the corresponding jade from the counter. The boss's eyes lit up as he said, "Mr. really is an expert." "Boss, how much is the total here?" Tang Zheng asked. "The total is 4,600,000. I'll give a discount so it's 4,500,000. "What, 4,500,000? Tang Zheng was dumbstruck. This was too expensive. Song Yu's eyes flashed with a strange light. 4,500,000 in his eyes was just a small amount of money. He didn't think that Tang Zheng would have such a big reaction. When he saw him by the pill furnace without even blinking, Song Yu thought that he was a young master from some family. It seems like he guessed wrong. "Mister, this price is absolutely fair. This mister is an expert, so he should know that we didn't give a false price." The boss pointed at Song Yu and said. Song Yu nodded his head, acknowledging the boss's words. Tang Zheng's face revealed a difficult expression as he said, "I only have 240,000. It's not even enough. Let's buy a few cheap ones." The boss's smile didn't fade as he said, "We also have cheap ones. 240,000 is enough to buy 4 pieces of jade." Song Yu didn't bat an eyelid as he picked out 4 pieces of cheap jade for Tang Zheng. After Tang Zheng paid for them, the money he won today was completely used up. He once again became poor. "Feng Yong, leave your safety buckle with me for now. I'll give it to you 2 days later." Tang Zheng said. "No problem. Boss, you can leave it for as long as you want." Song Yu was stunned as he looked at Tang Zheng. In his heart, he was wondering why he didn't just give it to him. Why did he have to bring it back? But he didn't ask. After all, both sides weren't too familiar with each other. "Mr. Song, thank you for picking out the jade for me. If there's nothing else, I'll leave first." Song Yu discovered many unusual things about Tang Zheng and said, "Why don't we eat together?" "No need. If fate wills it, we'll meet again." Tang Zheng indifferently looked at the distant Qin Laro. His eyes shrunk as he left with Feng Yong. Qin Laro stood in front of Song Yu and asked, "Young master, did you see anything? He's a bit special. But as for what it is, I can't say." Song Yu suspiciously said, "This youngster is very interesting. Young master, you definitely won't be able to guess where he came from." "Oh, which family's young master is he?" Song Yu curiously asked. Qin Laro smiled as he shook his head and said, "No, he's just an ordinary person. He's not from any family. Today he was brought in by the little brat beside him." "Ordinary person?" Song Yu was shocked. From Tang Zheng's temperament and style, he didn't seem to be from an ordinary family. Qin Laro saw the doubt in Song Yu's heart and said, "He's indeed a bit strange. But no matter how strange he is, he's just an ordinary person. He's not a martial artist. Why does young master value him so much?" Song Yu muttered, "There must be a demon behind this abnormality. Moreover, I have a strong premonition that he and I will definitely meet again." Qin Laro shook his head and smiled bitterly. Young master was young and impetuous. Sometimes his thoughts were too unconstrained. He came to the ordinary balance for important matters. How could he have any interactions with Tang Zheng? On the way back, Tang Zheng kept recalling Qin Laro's appearance. Others didn't notice Qin Laro's peculiarity, but Tian Chanzi saw it clearly. Qin Laro was actually a 5th-grade post-celestial stage expert. Uncle Feng, do you know who Song Yu is sitting in the VIP seats today? Tang Zheng curiously asked. Feng Yun was stunned and said, "He's called Song Yu?" Feng Yong hurriedly said, "Yes, he said it himself." Feng Yun pondered for a moment and said, "The owner of the Ordinary Balance Courtyard is also surnamed Song. Could it be that this Song Yu is a member of the Song family? Is the Song family very powerful?" Tang Zheng asked. Feng Yun nodded and solemnly said, "The Song family can't simply be described as powerful. This family not only has an extraordinary image in the business world, but also in the political and military world. It's like a super aircraft carrier. So powerful." Tang Zheng couldn't help but be speechless. Feng Yong also opened his eyes wide and exclaimed, "No wonder the Ordinary Balance Courtyard is still standing. So the boss is so powerful. Boss, just now Song Yu wanted to treat you to a meal. Why did you refuse?" Tang Zheng lightly said, "I'm not familiar with him." Feng Yun looked at Tang Zheng in shock. He actually made Song Yu take the initiative to invite him. This honor was really amazing. Feng Yun couldn't help but secretly sigh and thought, this Tang Zheng is definitely not a fish in a pond. In the future he will definitely soar to the sky. Little Yong being on good terms with him may be a great opportunity for the Feng family. At this moment, Feng Yun's impression of Tang Zheng underwent a huge change. The Song family's roots are in Beijing. The Ordinary Balance Courtyard is only an insignificant property of the Song family. However, the Song family rarely comes to the Ordinary Balance. Why did this Song Yu come to the Ordinary Balance? Feng Yun doubtfully muttered to himself. "Dad, why do you care about this? No matter how powerful the Song family is, it has nothing to do with us," Feng Yong said. Feng Yun shook his head and didn't say anything. How could Feng Yong understand his good intentions? If he could form a connection with the Song family, then his company would experience a qualitative leap. "Little Tang, since Song Yu doesn't have any ill intentions, if there is a chance, you can try to get in touch with her," Feng Yun said. If Tang Zheng was able to obtain the appreciation of the Song family, then for Tang Zheng it would definitely be a great thing. Tang Zheng declined to comment. Right now he and Song Yu were people from two different worlds. There was no need to think too much about the relationship between the two. His top priority was to engrave the formation into the jade artifact he bought. Chapter 53. There were tens of thousands of defensive formations, but with Tang Zheng's current strength, he could only use the simplest defensive formation, which was to inject his true qi into the jade stone. When attacked, the formation would automatically activate and his true qi would attack, thus achieving the effect of a defensive formation. Under the night sky, Tang Zheng's fingers moved and a complex array was engraved into the jade artifact. Then, he immediately activated his martial arts and poured his true qi into the jade artifact. The jade artifact emitted a white luster, and then in a flash, disappeared into the jade artifact. Tang Zheng let out a long breath. This seemingly simple process consumed most of his true qi. This engraving formation is really not an easy task. He could not help but sigh. Of course, if it was easy, then there would not be so many mediocre people in this world. Tian Chanzi said, "With your skills, you can only engrave one formation per night, so these 4 gifts will take you 4 nights. After you finish this, you can cultivate your true qi and then try to refine pills. What you need the most right now is the spirit pill. It can gather the spiritual energy of heaven and earth for your own use and quickly increase your cultivation." He had already bought the 9 revolving pill furnace, so refining pills was not a difficult task. He turned his head and looked at the 9 revolving pill furnace in a wooden box in the corner, and could not help but feel a little excited. After the holidays, he went to class during the day and engraved formations at night. 3 days later, the formations of the 4 jade artifacts were all completed. "Shusha, this jade Buddha is for you." In the small forest on campus, Tang Zheng and Fang Shusha were enjoying a sweet couple's world. Fang Shusha looked at the jade Buddha in her hand in surprise filling her heart. "You're giving me a gift?" "Of course, Remember to bring it with you. When I'm not by your side, it will replace me to accompany you. Tang Zheng said. Fang Shisha nodded and said, Tang Zheng, you're really too good. Saying this, she threw herself into his embrace, raised her head, and gently kissed him on the cheek. Tang Zheng's heart seemed to melt as he hugged her tightly. I'll definitely take it with me. I'll take it to class, eat, and sleep with it, just like you're always with me. Fang Shisha's lips curled up as she said sweetly, Yi, I suddenly realized that you've grown taller. Suddenly, Fang Shisha pointed at their heads and said curiously. Tang Zheng was stunned for a moment. He was originally only 1.7 meters tall, and Fang Shisha was 1.65 meters tall. There was not much difference, but now he was half a head taller than her. He was at least 1.75 meters tall. Could this also be due to the cultivation of the ancient Clear Heaven Scroll? Yes, this was the benefit of cultivation. His body had been cleansed, and his bones had been tempered. His growth rate had increased, and his height had naturally increased. Don't you like it when I grow taller? Of course I do. The two people returned to the classroom hand in hand. Tang Zheng had just sat down when Yi Dingdang could not help but glance at him. She knew that he must have gone to meet with Fang Shisha. Yi Dingdang, I'll give you a present. Tang Zheng took out the jade Buddha that he had prepared. You're giving me a present? Yi Dingdang's eyes widened in astonishment. Tang Zheng nodded and said, Yes, don't look down on it. It's not anything valuable. It's just a token of my sincerity. Boss, don't be modest. This jade Buddha is worth $60,000. How could it be worthless? Feng Yong came up and volunteered, and said without stopping. $60,000? Yi Dingdang exclaimed, I can't accept such a valuable gift. She was very clear about Tang Zheng's family. $60,000 was definitely not a small amount. Moreover, one should not accept a reward without doing any work. If I tell you to take it, then take it. Tang Zheng put the jade Buddha into her hands without any hesitation. Feng Yong also persuaded, That's right. This is boss sincerity. Look, I also have one. He said as he took out the safety bracelet around his neck. Tang Zheng looked at Tang Zheng suspiciously. Just what did he want to do? Give her such a valuable gift. Moreover, it was more than one. I heard that jade can protect one's safety. Didn't you encounter danger last time? So I bought one for you. Tang Zheng explained. Jade can protect one's safety? Yi Dingdang did not know whether to laugh or cry. If jade really had such a function, then wouldn't it be crazily fought over? She looked at him with shining eyes, not knowing what he was planning. What are you being so fussy about? Just remember to always wear it. Tang Zheng did not want to be long-winded with her and directly reminded her. The bell for class rang and Liu Qingmai walked in. Yi Dingdang did not have the chance to refuse and could only resentfully put away the jade Buddha. Liu Qingmei's face was not good. There was a trace of anger between her eyebrows as she said, The results of this mock exam are out. Most of the students in our class have improved. Congratulations to everyone. Everyone was beaming with joy and secretly clenched their fists. This period of hard work was not in vain. I want to praise student Feng Yong. He has improved the most. Feng Yong excitedly stood up and said, This is the result of the teacher's teaching. In addition, it is also inseparable from my boss Tang Zheng's detailed review plan. Otherwise, it would be impossible for me to improve so quickly. Everyone's gaze swept towards Tang Zheng. So Feng Yong's improvement was also due to him. They did not know how his results were this time. Many people had this thought but were too embarrassed to ask. However, there was one person who asked, Takashi. This was because he already knew about Tang Zheng's results from a reliable source, so he deliberately wanted to humiliate him. Tang Zheng had humiliated him many times. He was not Tang Zheng's opponent, so this time he wanted to openly humiliate Tang Zheng. Teacher Liu, since Feng Yong praised Tang Zheng so much, I wonder how his results were this time. He must have once again gotten first place in the school. Takashi said with a smile that did not reach his eyes. That's right. Teacher Liu, how were Tang Zheng's results this time? The others also curiously asked. Liu Qingmei's face became even more gloomy. She looked at Tang Zheng with disappointment and saw that his expression was normal, as if nothing had happened. She could not help but secretly sigh. She changed the topic and said, "Okay, now let's begin the explanation of this time's exam." Seeing Liu Qingmei change the topic, many people already understood that Tang Zheng's results were not ideal. They could not help but look at him with pity. It seems that there was no hope for him to rise again. Takashi saw that his goal was not achieved and unwillingly said, "Teacher Liu, why didn't you mention Tang Zheng's results? Him getting first place in the school is the pride of our class and can encourage everyone to improve." Tang Zheng looked at Takashi with ridicule. How could he not understand his sinister intentions? However, how could this kind of thing affect him? Looking at his proud appearance was like looking at a clown. Although student Tang Zheng's results did not improve, I believe that he will continue to work hard. Liu Qingmei vaguely said. Haha, so he is still in last place. The other students have improved, but he is still in last place. Hi, this really is an eye-opener. Takashi loudly laughed. He proudly glanced at Tang Zheng. He thought that he would see Tang Zheng fly into a rage. However, he discovered that Tang Zheng was calm and collected. His heart was startled as he suddenly felt a sense of powerlessness. It was as if he used all his strength to hit the air. "Stop talking," Liu Qingmei suddenly shouted and began to explain the questions. "Tang Zheng, you don't seem to have any thoughts about your results." Yi Dingdang curiously asked. "What thoughts do I have about being in last place? Don't tell me I have to give an award speech." Tang Zheng said self-deprecatingly. "Your martial arts are so powerful. How could you be in last place?" Yi Dingdang was puzzled. If she had not met Tang Zheng before, she would not have doubted that he was in last place. However, the more she interacted with Tang Zheng, the more she felt that he was not ordinary. For such an extraordinary person to be in last place, even if she was beaten to death, she would not believe it. "My head was injured and my memory is not good. Don't you know? You can even open up my dad's meridians. Don't tell me you can't heal your own injuries." Tang Zheng smiled and did not explain further. He said, "Who knows, maybe one day I will be enlightened again." After class, Liu Qingmei came in front of Tang Zheng. She knocked on his desk and seriously said, "Tang Zheng, come with me to the office." After the two figures disappeared from the office, the classroom was filled with discussion. Takashi said, "Tang Zheng is dragging us down again. This is an insult to our class." Feng Yong angrily stood up and said, Takashi, no one will treat you as a mute if you don't speak." "Haha, last place little brother, what I say is none of your business. Boss's wisdom is not something you can compare to. Yeah, he is too powerful. I really can't compare to the last place in wisdom." "Haha, shut up." Yi Dingdang suddenly shouted loudly, causing Jiao Dazhi to shut his mouth in dissatisfaction, and secretly hatefully said, "Even the last place has so many people protecting him, what the F***ck in the office?" Liu Qingmei sighed and said, "Tang Zheng, your results this time are very bad. Do you know that?" Tang Zheng did not say a word. "I know that you have been distracted by your grandfather's matter. But this is not an excuse. The other students have all improved, but you are the only one who has not made any progress. Moreover, this kind of influence is not good. The school has already made a decision regarding your problem." "What decision?" "Tang Zheng, I really don't want to see this kind of situation happen. I have also fought for it with the school, but..." Liu Qingmei shook her head in regret. "Are they going to expel me?" Tang Zheng suspiciously asked. "They want you to make up for the 3 years of tuition. Otherwise, they will expel you." Liu Qingmei said that Pengcheng International School's tuition was very expensive. The tuition for 3 years was close to 100,000 yuan. For Tang Zheng's family, this was an astronomical figure. "Make up for the tuition, otherwise they will expel me?" "Yes, this is the school's decision. If you have any difficulties, I still have some money here. You can borrow some from your relatives to make up for the tuition. Then take advantage of the next 2 months to work hard and see if you can improve your grades." "Improve his grades?" Haha, Liu Qingmai, you really have a lot of confidence in him. Suddenly, Wu Tsuehong's ear-piercing laughter rang out. Chapter 54. Wu Tsuehong's sarcasm caused Liu Qingmai to frown and say, Teacher Wu, don't go too far. Don't think that I don't know that this time it was you who played tricks behind the scenes. If it wasn't for you repeatedly making requests to the school, would the school make such a decision on Tang Zheng? Wu Tsuehong coldly laughed and said, I am doing this for the school's benefit. Is there a problem? Is there a need for you to target Tang Zheng like this? Am I targeting him? Haha, what I said is the truth. He is dead last and the school's resources are wasted on him. Wu Tsuehong disdainfully said. The school's responsibility is to educate and not to give up on any student. Even if you want to educate, the other party must be a promising talent. Tang Zheng is such a useless person, letting him take the college entrance exam is an insult to the college entrance exam. Tang Zheng indifferently looked at Wu Tsuehong and said, Old witch, you said that me taking the college entrance exam is an insult to the college entrance exam. Then what is not an insult to the college entrance exam? Liu Qingmai looked at Tang Zheng in astonishment. She did not think that after receiving such unbearable treatment, he could still be so calm. Of course it is to get good grades and enter a good university. Then what are your so-called good grades? Haha, in any case it won't be your dead last result. If I wasn't dead last in the college entrance exam, what would you say? If you weren't dead last, then what's the difference between dead last and dead last? Wu Tsuehong ridiculed. Then what about being first in the school? First in the school, haha, so you are this arrogant. Do you want to be first in the school? If you are able to get first in the school, then You what? I will admit that I have eyes but cannot see and am not fit to be a teacher. Good. If I am able to get first in the school, then you will be kicked out of the teaching team because you are not fit to be a teacher. I promise you, but you won't have the chance. Wu Tsuehong was full of confidence and complacency. But if you don't get first place in the school, I want you to kowtow to me in front of all the teachers and students. With so many teachers as witnesses today, I believe that you won't go back on your word. Let's wait and see. We'll see after the college entrance exam. Tang Zheng gave a strange smile. This smile made Wu Tsuehong startled, and an uneasy feeling rose in her heart for no reason. Why would I have such an absurd feeling? He's just a useless person. Maybe he'll make some progress, but how can he be the first in school? That's impossible. Moreover, he has to collect more than 100,000 yuan in tuition fees within a week to not be expelled. Otherwise, he won't even be able to take part in the college entrance exam, so how can he be the first? With his family's situation, 100,000 yuan was simply an astronomical figure. Even if he sold everything in his family, it wouldn't be worth that much money. So, I definitely won. Tang Zheng, you've gone against me so many times. Just wait until you kowtow to me and admit your wrongs. Haha. Wu Tsuehong proudly thought. Liu Qingmai didn't even have time to interject before the two agreed on this bet. Liu Qingmai secretly sighed. Tang Zheng was too young and impetuous. How could he recklessly bet on this kind of thing? Tang Zheng, you're really too impatient. I'll privately go find Teacher Wu and see if he can cancel this bet. Liu Qingmai obviously didn't want to see Tang Zheng be humiliated in the future. Teacher Liu, there's no need. Don't tell me you don't believe in me. Tang Zheng winked at her. Liu Qingmai was startled. From Tang Zheng's eyes, she saw a strong self-confidence. It was as if the school's first place was within his reach. Liu Qingmai shook her head. This was definitely an illusion. She firmly said, Tang Zheng, this isn't a child's play. Since you don't want to cancel the bet, then I, as a teacher, will do my part. From today onwards, after school, I'll give you extra lessons. Extra lessons? Teacher Liu, there's no need. Of course. I've said before that I won't give up on any student. You are my student, so of course I won't give up on you. But Tang Zheng, I still want to make it clear to you. These 2 months will be very hard on you, but you will reap the rewards of your hard work. So persevere. Liu Qingmai encouraged. Tang Zheng bitterly smiled. His time was already tight and he didn't expect that she would take up a portion of it. But he also couldn't refuse her good intentions. Wait for me after school. I'll take you to my home for extra lessons. Home? Of course it's home. If you take extra lessons at school and the other students see that I'm giving you special treatment, they will definitely complain. Oh, I got it. Tang Zheng dejectedly walked out of the office. Tian Chan's voice suddenly sounded, "Little brat, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Now that your skills have advanced by leaps and bounds, you need even more pure yin energy to balance your body. Also, you don't have any plans to eat that girl Fang Shusha. So, spend more time with Liu Qingmai and absorb her pure yin energy. It will be very beneficial for you." Liu Qingmai had a mysterious yin body. The pure yin energy in her body was much richer than Fang Shusha's and Yi Dingdang's. It was also much more beneficial for Tang Zheng. Tian Chanzi, how can your thoughts be so dirty? How are you like an expert cultivator? Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How is my thoughts dirty? I'm doing this for your sake, okay? Humph, a dog biting Lu Dongbin, you don't recognize my good intentions. Anyway, I'm telling you, you can't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You must absorb more of her pure yin energy. If you can have some physical contact with her, that would be even better. Tian Chanzi wouldn't let go of any opportunity to make Tang Zheng stronger. I've spent all my money. What should I do about the 100,000 or so yuan tuition? Tang Zheng didn't expect that he would have to worry about money so soon. If he hadn't been so extravagant in the ordinary balance courtyard a few days ago, the tuition wouldn't have been a problem at all. Forget it, I can't think of a good way at the moment. Anyway, there's still a week. If there's really no way in the end, I'll just go to the ordinary balance courtyard's casino and win another 100,000. This is a small amount, so it shouldn't arouse suspicion. Tang Zheng returned to the classroom. Everyone looked at him with a complicated expression. Most of them were pity and sympathy. Boss, with your level, how can you only get such a small score? There must be a problem with the grading teacher. Let's go check the papers. Feng Yong said indignantly. Feng Yong, there's no problem. I only got such a small score. Feng Yong was dumbstruck. Only after a while did he say, how is that possible? Nothing is impossible. Then what did teacher Liu call you for? She said she wanted to tutor me. F***ck, that's too good. She's going to tutor you alone. Feng Yong's eyes lit up. He couldn't believe it and was endlessly envious. Tang Zheng nodded his head and said, keep your voice down. Don't make this kind of thing public. Right, don't make it public. Feng Yong had a tacit understanding expression. Boss, I finally know why you only got such a small score. So it turns out you were planning far ahead. Did you already know that if your score was low, teacher Liu would tutor you alone? This plan is too ingenious. How come I didn't think of it? Tang Zheng was dumbstruck. He didn't think that Feng Yong would think this way. Feng Yong prostrated himself in admiration. He continued to talk non-stop. Boss, actually everyone wants to interact with teacher Liu more. After all, she is a super beauty. Her temperament and her beauty can make people's hearts surge. Here hi, this time boss, you're in luck. Feng Yong, I really didn't think that way. Tang Zheng helplessly explained. Denying it is useless. Everyone is well aware of it. There's no need to explain. Feng Yong laughed. Yi Dingdang finally couldn't bear it anymore and turned her head. She coldly stared at the two and said, why are you guys' heads filled with such messy and dirty thoughts? I'm not. Tang Zheng hurriedly denied. Yi Dingdang gave a you're so gullible expression which made Tang Zheng speechless. Sister Dingdang, food and sex are part of human nature. This is human nature. Do you understand? Feng Yong said as if he didn't feel ashamed. Instead, he felt proud. It's more like the nature of a pervert. After school, Tang Zheng told Fang Shusha about the tutoring. Fang Shusha was very happy. Even though she knew that Tang Zheng was already very strong, but with a teacher's tutoring, it would be better. Only then would the college entrance exam be more secure. The school quieted down. Tang Zheng stood alone in front of the school building when a mini stopped beside him. "Get in," Liu Qingmai shouted. Liu Qingmai drove very quietly. She didn't like to talk, unlike Feng Xinyang who chatted non-stop. "You haven't eaten dinner yet?" "No." "What do you want to eat?" "Anything. I'm not picky. Buying groceries to cook is too much of a waste of time. Let's buy some fast food to bring back." Liu Qingmai stopped the car in front of a KFC and got out. Not long after, she carried a bag and walked out. Finally, the mini stopped in the underground garage of a high-end apartment. Even though Tang Zheng didn't know much about housing prices, after all, he had been in ordinary balance for so many years. He had some understanding of the ordinary balance. Liu Qingmai lived in a neighborhood that was definitely not cheap. It seemed like her family was quite good. "I live alone, so my house is a bit messy. I hope you don't mind." Before entering the door, Liu Qingmai said shyly for the first time. Seeing her bashful appearance, Tang Zheng couldn't help but stare blankly. In his heart, he thought that she was really charming. An ice beauty occasionally revealing a bashful appearance was simply a great killer. "Teacher Liu is too modest. You're so beautiful, so your house definitely won't be messy," Tang Zheng said. But when the door opened, Tang Zheng realized that his words were too early. Her house was really messy. However, her house was only messy and not dirty. The floor was very clean, but things were scattered everywhere, making it look very messy. Liu Qingmai embarrassedly said, "Sit down, I'll tidy up a bit." After speaking, she hurriedly tidied up. "Teacher Liu, do you need my help?" "No need. You can just sit down." Tang Zheng sat on the sofa and watched her rush around the room. He couldn't help but sigh. So a woman's private space is like this. I wonder if Shusha's room is also this messy. While thinking, he sized up the room. This was a 2-bedroom apartment. The decorations were very warm and had a feminine charm. "Tang Zheng, can you stand up?" Suddenly, Liu Qingmai said to Tang Zheng with a red face. Her eyes were fixed on where Tang Zheng was sitting. Chapter 55. The atmosphere instantly became awkward, and there was even a trace of ambiguity. Both of them were silent. This was the first time Tang Zheng saw a woman's underwear at such a close distance. His face immediately turned red. The black underwear quickly enlarged and jumped into his eyes and finally jumped into his heart. Liu Qingmai wished she could find a hole to hide in. She was used to living alone, so she was used to leaving her clothes in a mess. Moreover, no one came to her house, so it wasn't a problem. However, today Tang Zheng came and thus such an awkward situation occurred. Although Liu Qingmai was used to leaving her things in a mess, her memory was very good. She just finished tidying up her things and realized that she was missing a pair of underwear. Only then did she remember that she took it from the balcony and threw it on the sofa. That was why she asked Tang Zheng to stand up. She didn't expect that he would really sit on it. Seeing her bewildered appearance, Tang Zheng mysteriously picked up the underwear and asked, "Teacher Liu, are you looking for this?" God, he actually used his hand to pick up her underwear. That was her most private thing. Moreover, he touched the most private part of her body. She felt a strange feeling in her body. Liu Qingmai snatched the underwear and flew into the bedroom. Tang Zheng could even hear her breathing become hurried. Seeing her slightly embarrassed appearance, Tang Zheng couldn't help but laugh. So the ice goddess also had this side. If other people knew that I saw Teacher Liu's underwear, I wonder what they would think. However, the black underwear is really sexy. Moreover, it has lace. I wonder if she wears it. Tang Zheng didn't dare to continue thinking. As a virgin, this kind of scene was too stimulating. He could already feel his body having a reaction. A small tent was set up below. Cough cough. Liu Qingmai walked out again. Her face was still a bit red. Suddenly, her gaze was fixed on Tang Zheng's lower body. It was as if she was paralyzed. He actually had a reaction. Damn it. Tang Zheng realized his embarrassment and hurriedly sat down, finally covering up his ugly appearance. He's still a child after all. He's young and impetuous. I'll forgive him this time. Liu Qingmai took a deep breath and tried to control herself. Let's eat first, then we'll start tutoring. Liu Qingmei's attitude was much colder. She hoped to use this coldness to cover up the awkwardness just now. Tang Zheng used his inner energy to suppress his restless thoughts. The two of them had a simple dinner together and then began to make up for the missed lessons. Liu Qingmei was an English teacher. At first, Tang Zheng thought that she was only good at English. But when she started tutoring, he realized that he had underestimated her. Chinese, mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology, she was proficient in all of them. She was even more lively and interesting than many of the teachers in this class. She must have been a top student back then, Tang Zheng guessed. But why did she want to be a teacher? Logically speaking, she's so good at studying and has a good family background. She could have done other jobs. Tang Zheng suppressed his curiosity. This was someone else's secret. He didn't have the right to ask. He didn't know that Liu Qingmei gradually had a lot of questions about him. Although Tang Zheng tried his best to hide his strength, he couldn't completely hide it. Liu Qingmei gradually realized that he was actually very smart. He didn't look like someone who got last place in the exam at all. I heard that his memory is getting worse, and he gets a headache when he thinks about problems. But why doesn't he have a headache when he's thinking about problems? Could it be his deliberately hiding his strength? She was shocked by her own speculation. But why would he hide his strength? Don't all students want to get good grades? She realized that she didn't know Tang Zheng as well as she thought. He seemed to have a mysterious aura and a temperament. Although he had the inexperience of people his age, he had a calming feeling that made people involuntarily want to get close to him. Why do I have this kind of feeling? She was startled. Now that Tang Zheng had stepped into the third-grade refining qi, his entire aura had undergone an earth-shattering change. Unknowingly, he had reached a state of harmony with the world around him. This naturally affected the people around him, causing them to feel a sense of tranquility. Okay, today's tutoring will end here. Go back and properly digest what you've learned today. I'll send you back. No need. This place isn't far from my home. I can walk back myself. Okay then. Go back and rest well. After sending off Tang Zheng, Liu Qingmei leaned against the door. She breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Today I was looking for trouble for myself. I hope he doesn't tell anyone about what happened today. Otherwise, I'll be embarrassed. If he dares to tell anyone, see how I'll deal with him. Ari, tonight I must properly tidy up my room. In the future, I can't let today's problems happen again. Otherwise, my reputation will be ruined." When Tang Zheng returned home, his grandfather was very happy. This was because the teacher actually gave Tang Zheng tutoring. He believed that this was the teacher's love for Tang Zheng. He repeatedly urged him to study hard and not let down the teacher's painstaking efforts. First-grade true fire is the dividing line between ordinary fire and true fire. Only true fire can refine pills. Of course, when true fire is cultivated to a certain level, it can also be used to defend against enemies. Everyone has a fire seed in their body. However, most people don't know the method to ignite the fire seed. I will now teach you the method to ignite the fire seed. Tian Chanzi passed on a mnemonic chant. Tang Zheng silently memorized it. According to the mnemonic chant, he guided his true qi to his dantian. His dantian suddenly became warm, just like a furnace. The fire seed is hidden in your dantian. It has no shadow and is invisible to the naked eye. However, it is there. Only when you ignite the fire seed will you be able to see a small ball of flame. The true qi in his 9 major meridians gathered in his dantian. Tang Zheng felt his body turn into a fireball. It was as if his body was going to burn. You have the 9 yang saint body. Your body has a lot of pure yang energy. Therefore, igniting the fire seed is a small matter. As long as you follow the mnemonic chant, there will be no problem. Tian Chanzi said. Hearing this, Tang Zheng was filled with confidence. After igniting the fire seed and cultivating true fire, he would be able to refine pills. With pills, he would be able to quickly increase his cultivation. The true qi in his dantian quickly flowed and rotated. Soon, it formed a true qi vortex. Your true qi is sufficient. The fire seed will be ignited soon. Huh? What's going on? Tian Chan's voice suddenly changed. Where is your true qi? Why did your true qi disappear? He saw the true qi vortex that was rotating at high speed disappear into thin air. It was as if it had never appeared. His dantian became empty, without a trace of true qi. Tang Zheng was also stunned. Didn't Tian Chanzi say that igniting the fire seed would succeed? What is going on? Where did the true qi go? Where is the fire seed? Why can't I see a trace of fire? Tian Chanzi, is this what you meant by success? Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Since he started cultivating, every time he succeeded, it was completely beyond Tian Chanzi's expectations. But this time, Tian Chanzi was full of confidence, but he failed. How can this be? Igniting the fire seed isn't that difficult. How can you fail? You have the 9-yang saint body. Logically speaking, it should be easier for you to ignite the fire seed. Tian Chanzi was also stunned and confused. The true qi in Tang Zheng's body had almost disappeared, and he was not willing to fail like this, so he hurriedly urged his power, allowing the remaining true qi to enter his dantian. Shua. The true qi was like a clay ox entering the sea, disappearing. This time, even the true qi vortex did not appear. It just disappeared into thin air like a magic trick. Tian Chanzi, quickly tell me, what happened to me? I don't know. You ask me, but who am I supposed to ask? No, this must be because you have the 9-yang saint body. Didn't you say that the 9-yang saint body was very awesome? How can you not do something as simple as this? Everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. Moreover, the 9-yang saint body has many secrets, so how would I know? Let's try again tomorrow. Who knows? Tian Chanzi stammered. Tang Zheng secretly sighed. It seems that there is no way to get an answer from Tian Chanzi. Let's try again tomorrow. The next day, Liu Qingmai walked into the office. Her expression was normal, but her heart was apprehensive. She looked at her classmates from time to time and found that no one was looking at her strangely. Only then did she relax. It seems that Tang Zheng did not tell anyone about last night's embarrassing incident. Boss, how was your time with the teacher last night? Hee. After class, Feng Yong gossiped. Nothing happened. What do you mean nothing happened? A single man and a single woman in a room. Don't tell me nothing happened. Feng Yong asked expectantly. Tang Zheng subconsciously thought of the black underwear. His face was calm as he said, I say, what is your brain thinking all day? She is a teacher and I am a student. What could have happened? It's because they are teacher and student that it's exciting. Isn't it always like this in movies? Scram. I find that you are more and more like an animal. Ring ring ring. Tang Zheng's cell phone rang. It turned out to be Feng Xinyang's number. He looked at Yi Dingdang in surprise and picked up the phone. Hello, Auntie. Are you looking for me? Little handsome brother, how are you recently? Not bad. Did you miss me? Ari, it seems like you didn't miss me. But as long as you miss my family's ding-dang, that's enough. Feng Xinyang generously said, Little handsome brother, let me tell you a big news. What news? Come to my house for dinner tonight and I will tell you. Auntie, I have been taking remedial classes recently. I don't have time. Tang Zheng could not stand her constantly trying to matchmake him and Yi Dingdang, so he tactfully refused. You are so smart. Why do you still need remedial classes? Moreover, this matter is much more important than remedial classes. Little handsome brother, you must come. And today I don't have time to pick up Dingdang. You have to escort her home. Chapter 56. Feng Xinyang called you? Yi Dingdang asked curiously. Obviously, she heard Feng Xinyang's voice. Yes, she asked me to go to your house for dinner. What is she up to now? She is your mother. How would I know? She also said that she won't pick you up after school and asked me to go home with you. Yi Dingdang's eyes rolled around. What was wrong with Feng Xinyang? No, she had to figure it out. She had experienced enough of her mother's whims, so she couldn't be at ease until she figured out the other party's intentions. However, when she called, Feng Xinyang directly refused to pick up. Later, when she called again, the other party directly turned off the phone. Feng Xinyang, if you dare to mess around, I will break up with you. Yi Dingdang gritted her teeth and angrily thought. Taking advantage of the break after class, Tang Zheng went to the office to ask for leave from Liu Qingmai. He couldn't attend tonight's makeup class. Liu Qingmai kindly agreed. Tang Zheng didn't know that last night's thrilling makeup class made Liu Qingmai's heart not completely calm down. Tang Zheng's proposal was exactly what she wanted. After school, Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang took a taxi directly to Yi Dingdang's home. As soon as they entered the door, Tang Zheng noticed that the atmosphere in the Ye family seemed to have changed. Scent Yi Dingdang also noticed. She curiously looked around and finally fixed her eyes on a luxury car in the parking lot. You have guests. The two walked into the living room and Feng Xinyang hurriedly greeted them. She grabbed Tang Zheng and nervously said, "Little handsome brother, there's an emergency." What emergency? Tang Zheng was surprised by her appearance and had a stomach full of questions. Feng Xinyang, are you crazy again? You're the crazy one. You have no respect for your elders. I am your mother. You don't look like a mother at all. Yi Dingdang speechlessly said. Feng Xinyang didn't have time to continue bickering with Yi Dingdang and mysteriously said, "Little handsome brother, this is related to your and Dingdang's lifelong happiness. Don't you think it's an emergency?" Tang Zheng found that the other party was talking more and more nonsense. He couldn't help but bitterly smile and said, "Auntie, just say it. Why did you call me here in such a hurry? Didn't I say that this is related to your and Dingdang's lifelong happiness? Someone came to our house to propose marriage." Propose? Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang coincidentally. Yes, this is a sudden attack. I also didn't expect it. But don't worry, I will definitely not agree to this matter. Ma, I am only 18 years old, what kind of marriage are you talking about? Is this something that you caused? Yi Dingdang said in a flustered and exasperated manner. Regarding Feng Xinyang's ability to cause trouble, she was extremely clear. How can you be so suspicious of your mother? I've already chosen a little handsome brother. How could I introduce you to someone else? This time the proposal was arranged by the old man. Feng Xinyang said somewhat helplessly. The fearless Feng Xinyang seemed to be in awe of this old man. Grandfather? Yi Dingdang was speechless. Feng Xinyang helplessly nodded. No, my happiness is my decision. He is my grandfather, so he can't interfere with my private matters. Yi Dingdang resolutely said, moreover, after so many years, has he ever cared about me? Now he suddenly ran out to arrange a blind date for me. Is there a grandfather like him? Feng Xinyang rubbed Yi Dingdang's head and said, Dingdang, don't worry. I will do my best to fight for you. My daughter is so beautiful and obedient. How can I let other people take advantage of her? Auntie, this has nothing to do with me, right? How can this have nothing to do with you? Dingdang is about to be snatched away by someone else. Can you just sit there and watch? I don't like what you're saying. Don't do it again. You're not allowed to say such things again. Now there is a way to resolve this situation. Do you want to hear it? Feng Xinyang asked with a smile. Tang Zheng was startled. From Feng Xinyang's smiling eyes, he had a bad premonition. What way? Yi Dingdang impatiently asked. What's done cannot be undone. What do you mean? If you are already engaged, do you think the old man will still have a way to arrange a marriage proposal? Feng Xinyang mysteriously smiled. Yi Dingdang subconsciously shook her head and then blankly said, but the key point is that I am not engaged. This is our family matter. If we say there is, then there is. That's still not right. Where are you going to find someone to be engaged to me? Here high, far away on the horizon, but close in front of you. Little handsome brother, don't you have a ready-made candidate? Feng Xinyang's gaze fell on Tang Zheng. No. Tang Zheng loudly shouted. Yi Dingdang was dumbstruck. She never thought that Feng Xinyang would want Tang Zheng to be the scapegoat. No, why did he refuse so quickly? It's as if I'm ugly. She hatefully glared at Tang Zheng and asked, Tang Zheng, I haven't even said no. Why are you speaking so quickly? This method is simply not feasible. I am someone who has a girlfriend. You can break up with a girlfriend. This is an engagement. A fiancé is a level higher than a girlfriend. Feng Xinyang said. I didn't say that I was really engaged to you. It was just an act. Yi Dingdang indignantly said. But this. No buts. It's settled. Little handsome brother, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I don't mind making the act real. Feng Xinyang said with an evil smile. Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How could she push her daughter away like this? Was Yi Dingdang really her biological daughter? Tang Zheng, you have to agree to this matter whether you want to or not. Yi Dingdang weighed the pros and cons and decisively said. What if I don't agree? You dare. Little handsome brother, Jianghu is in an emergency. You have to have a chivalrous spirit. Feng Xinyang said. Tang Zheng shook his head. This kind of thing could only be done by this unreliable mother and daughter pair. However, just pretending to be a fiancé shouldn't be difficult. The study door suddenly opened and Yi Tianlei walked out with an old man and a young man. Nephew, although ordinary balance can't compare to Beijing, it still has its own beautiful scenery. You can play here for a few more days. Yi Tianlei said. Many thanks for uncle's concern. This time I will definitely stay for a few more days. This is also my father's intention. Dingdang, you're out of school. Quickly come and greet the guests. Yi Tianlei suddenly waved at Yi Dingdang and said. Yi Dingdang suspiciously sized up the guests. This old man and young man were definitely not ordinary people. Their temperaments were extraordinary, especially the old man who gave people a feeling of showing off. He was like an unsheathed sword, making people not dare to look at him directly. Little Tang, you also came. Come, let me introduce you to a few guests. Yi Tianlei also saw Tang Zheng. His heart slightly moved, and he glanced at Feng Xinyang. Feng Xinyang winked at him. It's them. Tang Zheng didn't expect to see Song Yu and that Qin Laro at the Ye family. The one who came to propose marriage is Song Yu. Song Yu's gaze swept past Yi Dingdang's face and finally landed on Tang Zheng's face. He was slightly startled and couldn't hide his surprise. Qin Laro also looked at Tang Zheng in surprise. He suddenly remembered that Song Yu had said that he had a premonition that he would see Tang Zheng again. He didn't expect to meet him so soon. This world was too small. But then the two immediately remembered Tang Zheng's identity. He came from an ordinary family, so how could he have any relationship with the Ye family? Moreover, it seemed that they were very close. Tang Zheng, we meet again. Song Yu smiled and extended his hand. Yes, this world is too small. Tang Zheng said as he shook his hand. You know each other? Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang were both shocked. They were most clear about Song Yu's identity. How could Tang Zheng have any relationship with him? We met a few days ago at Ordinary Balance's residence. Song Yu explained. Yi Tianlei and his wife suddenly understood. This must be Dingdang's younger sister. As expected, her beauty is unparalleled. Song Yu said to Yi Dingdang. Yi Dingdang snorted and said, Who's your younger sister? Don't call me that. Dingdang, don't be rude. Yi Tianlei's face darkened as he scolded. Yi Dingdang pouted in a fit of pique. Song Yu said, Uncle, you can't blame Dingdang. I was rude. This is the first time I've met Dingdang. I really shouldn't have called her that. Dingdang, how are you? Let me introduce myself. My name is Song Yu. Our Song and Yi families have been friends for generations. You weren't in Beijing, so we haven't met before. But there will be many opportunities to meet in the future. I still don't know you. Yi Dingdang's tone was still as cold as ever. Song Yu was not angry and said in a lukewarm voice, Don't we know each other now? Dingdang, don't be rude. Yi Tianlei warned. He was afraid that Yi Dingdang would throw a tantrum again. Song Yu was not like other people. If she threw a tantrum with him, the gains would not make up for the losses. Yi Tianlei looked deeply at Song Yu and couldn't help but sigh. The successor that the Song family nurtured was indeed extraordinary. Although she was only in her 20s, Her calm personality was not something that an ordinary person could compare to. With this kind of successor, the Song family would not have to worry about continuing to prosper. No wonder the old man arranged this marriage. Yi Tianlei knew that the old man's health was not what it used to be. He must find a strong ally for the Ye family. Marriage was undoubtedly a powerful method. But when Yi Tianlei saw Tang Zheng, he suddenly realized that his wife was using her actions to express her opposition. She did not approve of this marriage. Although Tang Zheng is a variable, if the old man is determined to settle this marriage, what other people can do to resist? Yi Tianlei thought helplessly. As a member of the Ye family, he was very clear about the old man's temper and strength. No one in the Ye family could resist the old man. Dad, if there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room with Tang Zheng first. Yi Dingdang suddenly intimately held onto Tang Zheng's arm like a couple glued to each other. You. Yi Tianlei opened his eyes wide. It seemed that things were more complicated than he thought. Chapter 57. Feng Xinyang stood in front of Tang Zheng, blocking his gaze that was as sharp as a sword. Qin Laro was slightly startled and anger appeared between his brows. Song Yu smiled lightly and asked, Tang Zheng, are you friends with Dingdang? He is my fiancé. Yi Dingdang raised her head as if to declare her sovereignty. Tang Zheng smiled bitterly to himself. Yi Dingdang had entered the role too quickly. He was definitely going to be the shield, but he didn't dislike it. He had a good relationship with the Ye family. Moreover, he didn't have a good impression of this kind of matchmaking. He didn't mind helping Yi Dingdang this once. However, he admired Song Yu's reaction. Even a blind person could see that he had a good relationship with Yi Dingdang, but Song Yu asked if they were friends. Yi Dingdang was also domineering. She directly lied and said that Tang Zheng was her fiancé. In an instant, the hall was so silent that you could hear a pin drop. The atmosphere became subtle. Even Yi Tianlei opened his eyes wide in shock. Obviously, he didn't expect Yi Dingdang to be so fierce. He looked at his wife again and saw a faint smile on her face. He suddenly understood. All of this must be his wife's idea. His wife never acted according to common sense. Only she would dare to do such a shocking thing to go against the will of the old man. This is going to be troublesome. Yi Tianlei was stuck in a dilemma. Fiancé? Song Yu looked at Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang with a smile that wasn't a smile. Yi Dingdang hugged Tang Zheng's arm even tighter. It was as if she was afraid that Song Yu would notice something. Tang Zheng felt the softness on his arm and couldn't help but glance at her chest. In order to complete the scene, she didn't expect that the two of them would have such intimate physical contact. Tang Zheng, you're so lucky to have such a beautiful fiancé. Song Yu's voice was a little ethereal, so no one could tell what he was feeling. Tang Zheng knew that he couldn't back down now. Since the fake show had already started, he had to act according to the script. Moreover, he had to act more realistically. Therefore, Tang Zheng nodded politely and said, Thank you. My luck has always been good. How dare you? Suddenly, Qin Laro couldn't hold it in any longer and shouted loudly. His voice was like a great bell, and the entire hall was filled with this voice. It was like the rumbling of thunder, causing people to feel dizzy. Yi Tianlei's expression changed slightly. Qin Laro. Qin Laro coldly snorted. His gaze was like a sword as he looked at Tang Zheng. However, his gaze was blocked by Feng Xinyang. Song Yu was separated by Feng Xinyang so she couldn't clearly see Tang Zheng's reaction. However, an ordinary person would definitely be shaken by this lion's roar. In serious cases, they might even suffer internal injuries. Tang Zheng naturally wasn't injured. Firstly, Feng Xinyang had neutralized most of the lion's roar's power. Secondly, he had the ancient clear heaven scroll to protect his body. Tang Zheng, we finally meet again. Why don't we have a good chat? I believe we will have a lot to talk about. Song Yu continued. We're tired. We'll go back to our rooms first. How could Yi Dingdang allow them to be alone? What if Tang Zheng exposed themselves? So, without any explanation, she pulled Tang Zheng into her room. Yi Tianlei couldn't help but secretly shake his head. How did things become like this? He was the only one who could clean up this mess. He forced out a smile and said, "Nephew, Ding Dang is too headstrong. Please don't take offense." Song Yu smiled and shook her head. Ding Dang is still young. It's normal for her to be headstrong. Who doesn't have headstrong moments? Uncle, what do you think? When Yi Tianlei heard this, he didn't know what to say. Yi Tianlei, what is going on? Qin Laro couldn't help but ask. This. Before Yi Tianlei could think of an explanation, Song Yu spoke first. Uncle, we have just arrived. Can we stay in Uncle's house for a few days? This, of course you can. Yi Tianlei hesitated for a moment before agreeing. This was a reasonable request. If he didn't agree, then he would be too unreasonable. Feng Xinyang's gaze changed slightly. She looked at Song Yu thoughtfully. Yi Tianlei ordered people to bring Song Yu and Qin Laro away to rest. Feng Xinyang, you're too daring. Look at what you've done this time. How are you going to clean up this mess? Yi Tianlei said angrily. I've always been daring. Didn't you know that when you chased me that year? Moreover, I don't think there's anything wrong with this. This is a natural development. Naturally, there will be an outcome. Why would I need to spend energy thinking about how to clean up this mess? Feng Xinyang said without a care. Yi Tianlei shook his head and smiled bitterly. How could it be as simple as you think? How are we going to get past the old man? What about the Song family's face? What does the Song family's face have to do with me? I'm not part of the Song family. As for the old man, he didn't care about us before, but now he's using my daughter's happiness as a bargaining chip in exchange for the family's benefits. Don't say any more. Yi Tianlei's face sank. The old man is the head of the Ye family after all. He's my father. Naturally, he has a lot of things to consider. Yes, he does have a lot of things to consider. When you were forced to leave Jing City, did he consider that he was your father? You know how helpless we were back then. Moreover, he didn't even look at Ding Dang. Now he's going to marry her to someone else. Has he considered our feelings? Has he considered Ding Dang's feelings? Feng Xinyang argued. Yi Tianlei was speechless. He let out a long sigh and said, he doesn't have much time left, so he has no choice but to make these arrangements. What, he doesn't have much time left? Isn't he about to break through to the martial scholar realm? Feng Xinyang turned pale with fright. Yi Tianlei shook his head and said, his last attempt to break through to the martial scholar realm failed and he almost went crazy. That's why he doesn't have much time left. Ari, of all the major families in Jing City, only the Ye family doesn't have a martial scholar expert. If the old man isn't here, then the Ye family. Feng Xinyang didn't continue, but her meaning was clear. Yi Tianlei nodded and said, that's right. That's why the old man chose to marry the Song family, who has always had a good relationship with him. The Ye family doesn't only have Ding Dang as a girl. Isn't there also your elder brother's daughter? You also know that her reputation in Jing City has always been bad. How could the old man let her marry the Song family? Wouldn't that be the opposite of what he wanted? But I heard that the girl was very willing. She even made a big fuss several times because of this matter, but the old man never agreed. In any case, I won't agree to this matter. No matter who it is, I won't give face to. My daughter's happiness is in her own hands. Feng Xinyang still refused to budge an inch. Things have already become like this. How could I not know what you're thinking? But I don't know how to explain it to the old man. Back then, because you were injured and your meridians were blocked, you were judged to be unable to reach the Xiantian realm. Then, you were forced to leave Jing City. A while ago, we thought that since you had already broken through to the Xiantian realm, you could return to Jing City. After all, this was your long-cherished wish. But today, with this matter, I have completely lost interest in returning to Jing City. I feel that ordinary balance is also not bad. In the future, you can peacefully develop in ordinary balance. Yi Tianlei was silent and said, let's first get through this hurdle. In fact, all of this is because the old man doesn't have much time left. If the old man can persist for a few more years, then all of this will be easily resolved. Defying the heavens and changing one's fate. I've heard of this kind of thing, But where can I find someone with this kind of divine ability? Feng Xinyang said with emotion. Song Yu stood up, quietly looking out the window at the tranquil beauty of the Ye family manor under the setting sun. Qin Laro stood behind him and asked puzzledly, "Young master, why did you stop me from questioning Yi Tianlei just now?" Song Yu didn't even turn his head and said, "Qin Lao, some things will become passive if they are exposed, do you understand?" "What do you mean?" "This old man doesn't understand." "Haha, when Ding Dang introduced Tang Zheng as her fiancé, didn't you see Uncle Yi's expression?" "What expression did he have?" "Shocked." Qin Laro's heart trembled, and he said, "Young master, you're saying that he also doesn't know about this matter, so, this is all fake." "Most likely. So if we were to insist on pursuing this matter, it would force the other party to confirm this fake marriage and we would become passive. Right now, let's not talk about this matter and stay with the Ye family for a few days. They will naturally reveal some clues and everything will fall apart." "Young master is still the most thoughtful. This old man was stupid," Qin Laro said with admiration. Song Yu faintly smiled, "Haha, actually many things will be completely different if you take a step forward. Moreover, Tang Zheng is a child of an ordinary family, how could he be related to the Ye family by marriage? But my eyes were not wrong, he is indeed not simple. Perhaps we have seen too much of him on the surface, he must have many things that we don't know about. Young master, do you still need me to investigate him?" Song Yu waved his hand and said, "No need, since he doesn't want others to know, then he naturally has the corresponding methods. Continuing to investigate will only lead to more false impressions. I trust my own eyes more." As he said this, he pointed to his own eyes, bursting with strong confidence. In Yi Dingdang's boudoir, Tang Zheng couldn't help but look around. Her room was very neat and tidy, without a speck of dust. Presumably, there was someone who tidied and cleaned it every day. The style of the room was more robust than a normal girl's room, especially the words hanging at the head of the bed. It was a large-framed martial character, showing her infatuation with martial arts. "You like martial arts that much?" Tang Zheng asked. "Nonsense, of course I like it, my dream is to become a martial scholar." Yi Dingdang's eyes lit up, as if she could see herself becoming a martial scholar. "Then you still have a long way to go. I believe that I can definitely do it," she said confidently. "Ding Dang, this time you may not succeed in using me as a shield. That Song Yu is very smart, we may not be able to deceive him. Moreover, he is a very handsome guy, at least much more handsome than me. Have you not considered it?" "Consider your ass, no matter how handsome he is, I will not consider it. I hate it the most when other people tell me what to do with my life. I have to make my own decisions, not to mention when it comes to marriage, I will not listen to anyone." Chapter 58. Tang Zheng stayed with the Ye family. At the dining table, Yi Dingdang deliberately sat next to him and filled his bowl with rice and dishes. She looked like an inseparable little girl. Song Yu talked and laughed freely, as if she didn't see it, or as if he wasn't there to propose at all. Qin Laro, on the other hand, had a gloomy face as usual. He glanced at Tang Zheng from time to time, as if he wanted to skin him alive. Tang Zheng looked down and ate quietly. However, he was a little overwhelmed by Yi Dingdang's enthusiasm. There was a saying that it was difficult to erase a beauty's favor. It was indeed not a good thing to have such a grand favor from a beauty. Tang Zheng had to admit that this was the most boring meal he had ever eaten. Although there were all kinds of delicacies, the atmosphere at the dining table was too strange. It was tasteless. "We're done eating. Let's go back to our room." Yi Dingdang pulled Tang Zheng's hand again and ran to their room. Before entering the door, she said, "We're going to rest first." Yi Tianlei and Feng Xinyang already knew that Tang Zheng was going to stay over tonight, so they even prepared a room for him. When he suddenly heard Yi Dingdang's last sentence, Yi Tianlei was so shocked that he almost spat out the food in his mouth. Could it be that they were really going to make the act real and let Tang Zheng take advantage of it? Feng Xinyang's eyes lit up. She smiled and secretly praised, "This wretched girl is finally enlightened. She has to make the first move on such a good resource like the little handsome guy." This is really thanks to my good genes. Tonight, what's done can't be undone. Aya, I have to remind them to take safety precautions later. The other two's expressions were also particularly interesting. The veins on Chin Laro's forehead were throbbing. His face was as gloomy as the night outside, as if he could explode at any time. However, Song Yu only twitched the corner of her mouth and didn't have any other reaction. Chin Laro could only restrain himself and take a big gulp of tea to suppress the anger in his heart. In the bedroom, Tang Zheng stared straight at Yi Dingdang and asked, "Are we sleeping in the same room tonight?" "Of course. That's the only way to convince them and make them give up." Yi Dingdang clenched her snow-white teeth, seemingly ready to throw caution to the wind. "But we're a man and a woman alone in a room, don't think too much. Let me tell you, you'll sleep on the floor and I'll sleep on the bed. If you dare to mess around, Humph, be careful that I'll castrate you." Yi Dingdang waved her fist and threatened. "You're no match for me. Your threats are useless." Tang Zheng smirked. "This is my home. If you dare to do anything bad to me, my parents won't let you get away with it." Yi Dingdang bit her lip. She didn't know whether it was good or bad that she had invited a wolf into her house. "He, you were the one who took the initiative to pull me in. I believe that they have also tacitly agreed. You don't even think about it. You can't take advantage of others. Okay, then I won't take advantage of others. But I have to sleep on the bed and you sleep on the floor. How can that be? Don't you have any gentlemanly spirit?" "I never said that I was a gentleman," Tang Zheng roguishly said. "I didn't think that you were this kind of person." "Okay, I promise you. You sleep on the bed and I sleep on the floor." Tang Zheng was slightly startled as he didn't think that she would compromise so easily. He originally only wanted to tease her and didn't really want her to sleep on the floor. But now it was hard for him to say anything. "Ari, it seems that I can only wrong her for one night." Yi Dingdang bitterly glared at him and muttered, "Stingy bastard. You're not a man at all." Tang Zheng sat on the bed. A faint fragrance entered his nose and he couldn't help but feel restless. This was a girl's bed. This was his first time on a girl's bed. Moreover, this bed was very soft. It was much more comfortable than his wooden bed. "Hey, what are you thinking about?" "Nothing much. I'm warning you. You're not allowed to think nonsense. I'm going to read for a while. Don't run around." She finished speaking and went to her desk to read. Tang Zheng was bored to death. He simply closed his eyes. In a strange environment with outsiders around, he didn't dare to rashly cultivate. Otherwise, if he was disturbed, he might go crazy. He closed his eyes to rest. He began to recall the knowledge that he had learned in the past 10 years. He found that his thoughts were becoming clearer and clearer. Moreover, his logic was becoming stronger and stronger. A lot of knowledge that seemed difficult to understand in the past could now be understood through a comprehensive study. This is the benefit of cultivation. Not only is the body tempered stronger, but the brain is also deeply developed. The increase in intelligence is obvious. Little brat, a man and a woman alone in a room. This is a great opportunity. Don't waste it. Tian Chanzi was like a ghost, suddenly bursting out a sentence. "Damn, if you don't speak, I won't treat you as a mute. You've always claimed to be a righteous person. Why do I feel that you're becoming more and more evil? Aren't I thinking for your sake? Well, I'm going to find a way to make you unable to speak. Otherwise, if you suddenly burst out a sentence, you'll scare me to death. Hey, when you're strong enough, you can naturally block me. But you're still too weak to do it. Oh, then what realm do I need to reach to be able to do it?" Tang Zheng's heart moved. "You heard wrong. I won't speak." Tian Chanzi suddenly realized that she had spilled the beans, and immediately became silent. Tang Zheng was speechless, but this reminded him that although he was now used to the existence of Tian Chanzi, if there were some private moments in the future, he didn't want to share with others. "Well, I must find a way. Little brat, you're burning the bridge after crossing the river. That's not good enough." Tian Chanzi said. "How is this burning the bridge after crossing the river? This is to protect my privacy, you know? It doesn't matter if you don't say it, I'll definitely know. Okay, I'll tell you. As long as you reach the 4th grade refining chi, you can learn sealing techniques. At that time, you can temporarily seal my thoughts. Tian Chanzi helplessly said. Why do I have to be at the 4th grade refining chi to learn sealing techniques? Why can't I learn it now? Tang Zheng said in disbelief. I'm really not lying to you. Do you think sealing techniques are that simple? Sealing techniques can not only seal me, but can also seal a living person, making them unable to speak, or even seal a person's consciousness. Isn't that the same as turning people into wood? In any case, the sealed person is almost the same as a piece of wood. But this also has a time limit. If one's skills are strong enough, they can be sealed for hundreds of years. Dong dong. A knock on the door interrupted the conversation. Feng Xinyang, why are you here? Yi Dingdang opened the door and asked sneakily. Of course I'm here to see you. Daughter, this time you've become smarter. But let me tell you, tonight you must pay attention to your safety. Young people should take it easy. These things are quite useful. Feng Xinyang said mysteriously as she handed over a box of Durex. Feng Xinyang, are you looking for death? Why are you giving me these things? Yi Dingdang's face immediately turned red like an apple, as if she was about to go berserk. Young people really don't understand. This is a safety measure, you know? Quickly take it. There's also Tang Zheng's pajamas. I just had someone go buy it. Just wear it, I won't disturb your good time. Here hi, daughter, good luck. Feng Xinyang winked meaningfully and then quickly walked away. Yi Dingdang didn't know whether to laugh or cry as she took Tang Zheng's pajamas and a box of Durex. She already didn't know what to say. What's your mom doing here? Suddenly, Tang Zheng asked from behind him. Ah, she's here to give you pajamas. Auntie is really thoughtful. Give it to me. Tang Zheng took the pajamas. Suddenly, a box of strange things fell to the ground, immediately attracting Tang Zheng's attention. Durex. Tang Zheng immediately recognized it. Yi Dingdang also saw the Durex and immediately realized that it fell when she handed him the pajamas. At this time, she wished she could find a hole to hide in. Feng Xinyang, I'm going to kill you, she hysterically roared in her heart. Then, with lightning speed, she stepped on the Durex and stammered, You go take a bath and rest. Tang Zheng gave a meaningful smile and went to the bathroom with the pajamas. That smile made Yi Dingdang feel ashamed. He wouldn't think that I have ulterior motives towards him, right? How could that be? In all honesty, all of this was done by Feng Xinyang. Feng Xinyang, under the heavens, is there anyone who would cheat their own daughter like you? Am I still your biological daughter? She wanted to cry but had no tears. Fortunately, Tang Zheng went into the bathroom. He quickly picked up the flattened Durex and, like a dead mouse, impatiently threw it into the trash can. Tonight, I must not sleep too soundly. I must be on guard against him. If he really dares to have any bad intentions, humph, I'll castrate him. Hearing the sound of water coming from the bathroom, she immediately realized that he was the first man to use her bathroom. She could not help but hatefully stomp her feet. He really got off easy. Forget it, this is just a temporary measure. First, I'll trick that surnamed Song into leaving and then I'll deal with him. The pajamas your mom sent over are quite fitting. Tang Zheng finished washing up and walked out. Yi Dingdang glared at him and said, I'm going to take a bath. You're not allowed to peek. Please, who would peek at you? I was just afraid that you would peek at me. Only a ghost would peek at you. Since you're afraid of peeking, then you don't have to take a bath. After all, you're sleeping on the floor. Tang Zheng shrugged and suggested. This is my home. If I want to take a bath, then I'll take a bath. It's none of your business. Yi Dingdang was raised to take a bath before going to bed. If she did not take a bath, she would not be able to sleep. She carefully entered the bathroom and hurriedly took off her clothes. Looking at her exquisite body in the mirror, she couldn't help but secretly exclaim, My body is so beautiful, I must protect it well. I absolutely can't let him take advantage of me. Her body was indeed beautiful. Moreover, it was a very healthy kind of beauty. She had been practicing martial arts since she was a child. Her body was well proportioned and tight. Moreover, there was a vestline. Her body was better than many girls who worked out in the gym. She did not dare to take a long bath like usual. She hurriedly took a bath and then put on her pajamas. Moreover, she specifically wore pajama pants. After making sure that she was not exposed, she walked out of the bathroom. She found that Tang Zheng was already lying on the bed. That look of enjoyment made her want to drag him down and beat him up. Suppressing the anger in her heart, she took out another set of quilts and threw them on the ground. Then, she wrapped herself up like a dumpling. She kept telling herself not to sleep too deeply. Sleepiness came, and in the end, she still fell asleep. Chapter 59. It was daybreak. Tang Zheng woke up. Why was there something heavy on his body? He opened his eyes in a daze and saw the white ceiling. Only then did he remember that he was not in his own house, but Yi Dingdang's bedroom. No, Yi Dingdang. He stared at the heavy object on his body. It was a person, Yi Dingdang. Half of her body was on top of him, and her hands were hugging his waist as if she was hugging a stuffed animal. Her head was leaning on his shoulder. Tang Zheng turned his head slightly and saw her beautiful face. There was a trace of laziness and a lock of hair covering her white face, making her look a little playful. Tang Zheng could even feel her gentle breathing. It was warm and ticklish on his neck. She is so beautiful. Tang Zheng let out a silent praise. She was a perfect sleeping beauty, causing others to want to commit a crime. Half of her body was on top of him, and her chest was in intimate contact with Tang Zheng. His breathing quickened involuntarily and his body felt like it was going to burn. Suddenly, she made a sound and smacked her cherry lips. She opened her sleepy eyes. Suddenly, her eyes widened and she stared straight at Tang Zheng. She screamed. Tang Zheng reacted quickly and covered her mouth when she only shouted the first syllable. Don't scream. Woo-woo. Yi Dingdang kept struggling. Her eyes were about to spit fire. If you promise me you won't scream, I'll let go. Tang Zheng said. Woo-woo. She was still glaring at him fiercely. Her eyes looked like she wanted to eat him alive. I'll take that as a promise. If I let go, you'll shout and attract other people. You'll be the one to make a fool of yourself. This sentence was indeed effective. Tang Zheng loosened his grip. Yi Dingdang took a deep breath and shouted angrily, You beast. He used grappling hand to restrain Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng had long anticipated that she would make a move, so he counterattacked at lightning speed. The two of them wrestled together and were tossed around by the waves. Sometimes they would be on top of each other, and sometimes they would be on top of each other. In the end, the two of them were twisted together like fried dough twists. Yi Dingdang was strangling Tang Zheng's neck, while Tang Zheng was grabbing Yi Dingdang's head. Let go, Yi Dingdang said fiercely. Put it down first, Tang Zheng replied. You put it down first. If you release it, I'll release it. Beast, I'll kill you. What right do you have to scold me? You did that to me. If you're not a beast, then what are you? What did I do to you? Speak clearly. Moreover, look clearly. This is a bed. I was the one who slept in the bed last night. It was clearly you who climbed into my bed in the middle of the night and plotted against me. Tang Zheng said. Yi Dingdang suddenly remembered that she had woken up on the bed. Moreover, she had done such intimate actions with him. Could it be that she really did climb into his bed in the middle of the night? No, even if I did it, I can't admit it. Otherwise, I would die of embarrassment. Does waking up on the bed prove that you didn't do anything bad? Maybe you took advantage of me being asleep and carried me to the bed, and then plotted against me. Yi Dingdang righteously said. Tang Zheng was dumbstruck. There was actually such a twisted logic person in this world. You have nothing to say. Yi Dingdang was very pleased with herself. Suddenly, her eyebrows knit together and she suspiciously asked, What are you pointing at me with? You even brought a weapon? Tang Zheng was ashamed. It was early in the morning and he was already in high spirits. After wrestling, the two people's bodies inevitably came into contact with each other, so his body reacted. Yi Dingdang wasn't an idiot. After a while, she realized what it was. She was both ashamed and angry. Tang Zheng, you beast. I'm going to kill you. Hurry and let go of me. Tang Zheng knew that if this continued, it would only become more and more awkward. He quickly let go of his hand and slid off the bed like a loach, retreating 3 steps back. Yi Dingdang jumped up and like a white crane flapping its wings, she threw herself at him. Tang Zheng's feet slipped, avoiding direct contact with her. Suddenly, the room was filled with a dangerous aura. Dong dong. Feng Xinyang knocked on the door. Wake up. Eat breakfast and go to school. The two people's movements suddenly stopped. Hurry and open the door. Don't laze around in bed. Mom, stop knocking. We're already up. If you're up, then open the door for me. Feng Xinyang said without giving up. Yi Dingdang was helpless. She could only open the door a crack and said, "See, we're really up." Feng Xinyang peeked through the crack in the door and coincidentally saw the messy bed. She immediately understood and smiled. In a low voice, she said, "Ari, you young people don't know how to control yourselves. The bed is so messy, it will take a long time to clean it up." Yi Dingdang's face was red to the neck. She angrily said, "Feng Xinyang, no one will think you're a mute if you don't talk." She slammed the door. "Tang Zheng, it's all your fault." "How is it my fault? It was clearly you who wanted me to act out this show. You even wanted me to stay in the same room as you. Now you're saying it's my fault. You're too unreasonable." Tang Zheng said unhappily. "Tang Zheng, you're not allowed to tell anyone about what happened last night. Otherwise I'll really kill you. Don't worry. I won't tell anyone that someone climbed into my bed last night. In the end, they even framed me." Yi Dingdang angrily stomped her feet. The two people finished washing up, changed their clothes, and walked out of the room. Breakfast was already prepared. It was still early and the others were not up yet. After eating breakfast, Feng Xinyang sent the two to school. Along the way, Feng Xinyang smiled very strangely. From time to time, she meaningfully looked at the two people. She thought that it was good to be young. After a night of torment, they were still energetic during the day. "Little handsome brother, come to our house for dinner tonight." Feng Xinyang invited when they got out of the car. "No, he can't come tonight," Yi Dingdang hurriedly said. "Why?" "He has something to do." Yi Dingdang did not want to face Tang Zheng again tonight. Who knows what will happen? That would be too easy for him. Tang Zheng also did not want to continue. Acting was too tiring. "Yes, Auntie. I have something to do tonight. I can't go." "Oh, that's a pity." Feng Xinyang regretfully watched the two people walk into the school. No one noticed that someone in the distance was recording this scene with a mobile phone. Today in class, Yi Dingdang was absent-minded. Her mind kept recalling what happened between the two of them last night. "He got off too easy. I have to be more careful in the future. Now there are wolves in front and tigers behind. Heavens, why is my Yi Dingdang life so hard?" While she was feeling sorry for herself, Tang Zheng discovered an amazing harvest. The true qi in his body increased a lot. But he did not practice martial arts last night. That could only be because he absorbed pure yin energy. Last night, he and Yi Dingdang had close physical contact for almost the entire night. He continuously absorbed pure yin energy, so his true qi increased so quickly. "Boy, now you know that I didn't lie to you. As long as you get a woman, your martial arts will advance by leaps and bounds." Tian Chanzi jumped out again. Tang Zheng really wanted to give him a supercilious look. He continued to listen to the class attentively. Although he was confident in the exam, he could not let his guard down. After all, he had a bet with the old witch. If he could not get first place in the school, then the old witch would not honor the bet. After school, Fang Shisha and Tang Zheng walked down the school building together. They were whispering to each other. Every time at this time, Tang Zheng would feel particularly peaceful. "Tang Zheng, I want to find an opportunity to invite you to my house for dinner. Is that okay?" Fang Shisha asked. "Go to your house for dinner?" Tang Zheng was surprised. "Yes, I know that there is a misunderstanding between you and my mother, so I want to resolve this misunderstanding," Fang Shisha said in a delicate and pitiful voice. Tang Zheng could not help but think of her mother's words. Looking at her delicate and pitiful appearance, he thought that if he wanted to stand together with her, he would have to go through her mother. It would be best if he could resolve the misunderstanding. "No problem, you can set a time and let me know. I will definitely pay you a visit." Fang Shisha smiled like a flower and said, "You are so nice. I thought you would object." "Am I such a petty person?" "Of course not. You are the most selfless person in the world." "Haha, I am not that great. It is just that if you ask me to do something, even if it means climbing a mountain of swords or diving into a sea of fire, I will do my best to do it." Fang Shisha's heart was filled with sweetness. Her face was filled with a happy smile. Beep beep. A car horn sounded behind Tang Zheng. Liu Qingmai poked her head out of the window and signaled Tang Zheng to get in the car. "Then I will go to make up for my lessons. See you tomorrow." "Okay, good luck. See you tomorrow." Tang Zheng got in the car. Liu Qingmai glanced at Fang Shisha, who was like a lotus in clear water, and coldly said, "I do not object to you two dating, but you must put your studies first. Do you understand?" "Teacher Liu, I understand. It is good that you understand. In the future, if there is nothing special, it is best if you do not miss my lessons." "Yes. How is your preparation for school fees coming along?" "I am still preparing." The whole journey was silent. On the way back, the two bought dinner and then returned home. This time, her house was meticulously cleaned. It was clearly a lot more tidy than the first time. "You should rest first." Liu Qingmai entered the bedroom. Not long after, she changed into a set of loose home clothes. It covered her graceful figure and made her seem more approachable. After the two ate dinner, they began to make up for their lessons. After the first run-in, this time it was even smoother. Even though Tang Zheng had already recovered his strength, he still benefited a lot. "Tang Zheng, why are your test results so bad?" Suddenly, Liu Qingmai stared straight at him. Her eyes seemed to see through his heart. "Ah, I also do not know." Tang Zheng did not expect her to be so direct. It seems that he was not able to hide his strength from her eyes. "Nervous?" Tang Zheng bitterly smiled and said, "Maybe." "No, I think you are not nervous at all." Liu Qingmai still remembered his appearance at the police station. He was calm and composed, without a trace of nervousness. How could a person who was not nervous in front of a violent mechanism be nervous in an exam field? "Your ability to lie is not good at all," Liu Qingmai coldly said. Chapter 60. Fang Shisha watched as Liu Qingmei's mini drove off into the distance. Just as she was about to walk towards the school gate, she heard someone call her name. "Qiao Fei, you called for me?" Fang Shisha looked at Qiao Fei, who was hurrying over, and asked. Qiao Fei pretended to be calm and said, "Yes, I have something to talk to you about." "What is it?" "Let's talk over there," Qiao Fei said as he pointed towards the school gate. Fang Shisha did not suspect anything as she followed him and said, "Speak, what is it?" Qiao Fei had targeted Tang Zheng before, so Fang Shisha did not have a good impression of him. "Do you know where Tang Zheng spent the night last night?" Qiao Fei asked. "Of course, it's his home." "Home? He told you. If you don't have anything else, then I'll go home first." Fang Shisha did not want to say more. "You were tricked by him. He didn't go home last night. He went to Yi Dingdang's house and stayed there the entire night." Seeing that Fang Shisha was about to leave, Qiao Fei impatiently said as he felt a sense of satisfaction from his revenge. Fang Shisha's face instantly changed as she said, "Don't talk nonsense." "Haha, how could I talk nonsense? I have evidence. Look." Qiao Fei opened the photo on his phone. It recorded that yesterday Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang left together in a car. This morning the two came to school in the same car and acted intimately. Fang Shisha stared at the photo in a daze, her heart in a mess. Could it be that he really went to Yi Dingdang's house to spend the night? Why didn't he tell me? Just what did they do? Most women, when faced with this kind of situation, would inevitably let their imagination run wild and be at a loss for what to do. "Fang Shisha, You are wholeheartedly loyal to him. He is lying to you. This kind of person is a big liar. Don't ever trust him again. Xiao Fei saw that the time was right and immediately tried to drive a wedge between them. Fang Shusha looked up at him and said, Xiao Fei, this is between me and him. I don't need anyone to tell me what to do. Why don't you understand? He is not worthy of you. Moreover, he is multitasking. Shusha, you know that I have always liked you. Shut up. Don't say any more. I don't like you, and I won't be with you. Please don't say such things in the future. I'm going home. Fang Shusha felt as if a knife was being twisted in her heart. She turned around and left. She wanted to ask Tang Zheng what was going on. Did he really lie to her? Was this all an illusion? Before she could take 2 steps, her mouth was covered by someone. Her body was soft as if she had no strength. Her head was heavy as if she had dozed off. She lost to lose consciousness to sleep to. Seeing her fall, Xiao Fei hugged her. His lips curved into a devious smile as he muttered, Shusha, this is all because of you. I pursued you bitterly but you chose Tang Zheng. If I didn't make a move, then that poor bastard Tang Zheng would have taken advantage of me. I will never let that happen. Looking at Fang Shusha's beautiful face, his eyes lit up. Tonight, you are mine. Don't ever think of leaving me again. Ha ha. Xiao Fei was confident that as long as he obtained the woman's body, he would have thousands of ways to make her unable to leave him. He supported Fang Shusha, and like an intimate couple, they quickly walked out of the side door and got into the car that had been prepared long ago. The car went straight to the 5-star hotel. Xiao Fei familiarly went up the stairs and entered the room that was already prepared. Looking at Fang Shusha, who was quietly lying on the bed, she was like a sleeping beauty. He swallowed his saliva and became restless. Where is this? Suddenly, Fang Shusha opened her eyes and unconsciously asked. Suddenly, she saw Xiao Fei and the surrounding environment. Her face greatly changed as she exclaimed, Xiao Fei, what are you doing? Here a single man and a single woman. What do you think I am doing? Xiao Fei, we are classmates. Don't be like this. This is against the law. Do you know that? Fang Shusha's heart was in a mess. How could she not understand what Xiao Fei wanted to do? She never would have thought that Xiao Fei was this kind of person. Haha, it's against the law. My family has money. The law has no effect on rich people. The law will only punish poor bastards like Tang Zheng. You did something bad. My family will not let you off. Here, maybe after we get together, your family will be even happier. Our 2 families will be united by marriage. This will be a good story for both our families. No, I don't like you. I will not let you succeed. Fang Shusha bit her lips and resolutely said. Xiao Fei laughed. This is not up to you. Right now I have the final say. Do you think you can still resist? Fang Shusha struggled to stand up but found that her whole body was sore and weak. What did you do to me? Just a little trick. This will make the game more interesting. Moreover, I dare to guarantee that after you experience my good side, you will definitely not leave me again. You're dreaming. No, what I said is the truth and not a dream. Because in a moment I will record your moving side. This kind of moving and beautiful side should be kept as a memento. But if you leave me in the future, these beautiful things will spread throughout the world. Shameless. Fang Shusha's whole body was ice cold. Xiao Fei actually wanted to record a dirty video to threaten her. How could he be so perverted and so despicable? How could she not have noticed before? If she let him succeed, then her whole life would be ruined. How would she have the face to see Tang Zheng? This was the first time in her life that she felt such despair. Tang Zheng, where are you? Quickly come and save me. She cried out in her heart, but she knew that Tang Zheng should be tutoring right now. How could he appear here? He was not a god and did not have divine schemes. Xiao Fei, I beg you, let me go. I don't like you. A forced melon is not sweet. Fang Shusha was about to cry as she begged. Now you know to beg me. It's too late. I used to be so good to you, but you turned a blind eye and chose that poor bastard Tang Zheng. You have broken my heart. Tonight, no one can save you. From now on, you are mine. Haha, in a moment I will be a bit more gentle and let you know what it's like to be a man. These unbearable words made Fang Shusha's face and ears turn red. She was angry and scared. Her whole body trembled as she said, Xiao Fei, even if you obtain my body, you will not obtain my heart. Moreover, I will not let you go. Her body was soft and she did not have the ability to resist. Tonight, she suffered under his evil hands. She would not have the face to see Tang Zheng and could only leave this world forever. But even if she became a ghost, she would not let Xiao Fei go. Seeing the hatred and determination in her eyes, Xiao Fei felt as if his heart had been ruthlessly stabbed. A wave of unwillingness and anger rushed to his heart as he hysterically roared, even if I can't obtain your heart, I will obtain your body. Bitch, are you still thinking about Tang Zheng? Let me tell you, not only will I obtain you, I will watch as his woman is taken away from him. I will make him suffer so much that he will wish he was dead. You pervert. Haha, you dare to call me a pervert? I'll show you how perverted I am. Xiao Fei's anger rose from his heart as he sent a slap towards Fang Shusha. Fang Shusha was unable to dodge, but she did not close her eyes in fear. Instead, she opened her eyes wide. In her eyes, besides anger, there was also contempt and unyielding. Peng! A muffled sound rang out. Fang Shusha did not feel any pain, but she felt a hot air coming from her chest. Then Xiao Fei flew out and heavily hit the wall. He fainted like a dead fish. Ah, what is going on? Fang Shusha was dumbstruck. With her knowledge, she could not understand what was going on. There was no third party in the room, so how could he fly out? Seeing him faint, she finally let out a sigh of relief. She only wanted to quickly escape this devil's den, but she found that her body was still weak. No, I must leave here. Otherwise, when he wakes up, I will not be able to escape. She used all her strength to reach into her pocket for her phone only to find that it was gone. Xiao Fei must have taken it away. What should I do? What should I do? I can't walk. I must call someone to come to the hotel and save me. Suddenly, her eyes fell on the phone at the head of the bed. Right, use this phone. She stretched out her hand with difficulty and a number immediately jumped into her mind. She did not even think about it and directly dialed the number. At this time, the first person she thought of was not her family, but Tang Zheng. It seems that she subconsciously believed that Tang Zheng could save her. Sorry, the number you have dialed is currently busy. The line was busy. Fang Shusha was close to despair. Just as she was about to call her family, her hand suddenly froze. Because Xiao Fei woke up. F***ck, it hurts so much. Suddenly, Xiao Fei loudly shouted. She hopelessly looked at Xiao Fei who had already stood up. Xiao Fei shook his head and blankly looked around. He did not find a third party and Fang Shusha was still lying on the bed. What is going on? Am I hallucinating? No, how could this be an illusion? He clearly remembered that he was sent flying by a strong force and then lost consciousness. Evil, F***ck, I don't believe that even the heavens cannot stop me from getting her. He had already been completely blinded by anger and desire. Fang Shusha, tonight you are mine. He laughed nastily and once again threw himself at Fang Shusha. The innate qi in Tang Zheng's body began to violently vibrate, and he immediately realized that something was wrong. This was not his own problem, but someone else's problem. The Imperial Spirit Array had been activated, and he had a kind of telepathy with the array. But he was unable to determine who was in danger. He immediately rushed out of Liu Qingmei's house like the wind and said, Teacher Liu, I have something to do so I will leave first. Just as he finished speaking, he had already disappeared. Liu Qingmei's eyebrows slightly wrinkled as she stared at the door. She muttered to herself, Escape, I want to see how long you can escape for. She mistakenly believed that Tang Zheng had his secret exposed and did not know how to face it, so he found an excuse to escape. Young people will always be young people. They are still too impatient and exposed themselves after being tricked by my words. Tang Zheng did not run around like a headless fly. This was because when the formation was activated, he had a feeling that he had sensed the location of the victim. Chapter 61. Tang Zheng, where did you take my daughter? Shi Mengqin bombarded Tang Zheng's ears with a high decibel. Auntie, did Shusha not return home? Tang Zheng asked. You already know the answer. Let me ask you, what did you do to my daughter? Hurry and let her return home. If you dare to do anything bad to her, I will definitely not let you off. Shi Mengqin threatened. Auntie, don't worry. Shusha will definitely be fine. Tang Zheng hurriedly hung up the phone. The two did not know that while they were on the phone, Fang Shusha had called for help. However, because Tang Zheng was using the old man's phone, there was no notification, so he missed this crucial call. Tang Zheng madly ran, rushing towards the location he sensed. Tian Chanzi, is there any way for me to clearly pinpoint Shusha's location? Tang Zheng anxiously asked as he ran. There is. Tian Chanzi did not beat around the bush and directly taught Tang Zheng the tracking technique. Tang Zheng learned it quickly, and in the darkness, his perception of Fang Shusha became even clearer. The tracking technique could not track just anyone, but the most important thing was that the spirit control array was activated, so he was able to quickly track. City Center. Fortunately, Liu Qingmei's home was near the city center, so Tang Zheng did not need to run for long to reach his destination. Hotel. Tang Zheng looked at the luxurious hotel, and the ominous premonition in his heart grew stronger. Fang Shusha was in danger in a hotel, and this was enough to explain many problems. Shusha, you must wait for me. You must be fine. Tang Zheng entered the hotel, and a moment later, he arrived outside a guest room. The tracking technique's location was here. The door was tightly shut, but how could it stop him? Peng, he directly kicked open the door. Who is it? Qiao Fei was lying on top of Fang Shusha's body, tearing off her clothes. Suddenly, a muffled sound came from the door. He shouted and turned his head to look, only to find that there was another person in the room. It was a person that he definitely did not want to see, a person that he did not expect. Tang Zheng, why are you here? Qiao Fei panicked as if he had seen a ghost. Bastard, I'm going to kill you. When Tang Zheng saw Fang Shusha lying on the bed with tears streaming down her face, he became enraged. He madly rushed over and punched Qiao Fei in the chest. Raw. Qiao Fei was like a shrimp, instantly lying on the ground. Shusha. Tang Zheng picked up Fang Shusha. Bastard, get lost. Don't touch me, don't touch me. Fang Shusha screamed in panic. Her eyes were full of despair and pain. Tang Zheng felt as if a knife was being twisted, and said, Shusha, it's me, I'm Tang Zheng. Fang Shusha was startled, and said, Tang Zheng, save me, I've come to save you. You're fine, you're safe. Tang Zheng tightly held her in his arms, as if he was holding the most precious thing in the world. Fang Shusha's emotions gradually calmed down. She finally saw Tang Zheng clearly. She was pleasantly surprised, and said, Tang Zheng, it really is you. You've come to save me. It's me, I came late and made you suffer. I knew you would come to save me. You are my hero, my great hero. Qiao Fei is a bastard, he wants to. As she spoke, she began to cry again. With me here, no one will be able to harm you. Tang Zheng patted her back, comforting her. At the same time, he felt a lingering fear. If he had come a step later, the consequences would have been unimaginable. Qiao Fei, this bastard, I will definitely not let him go. His gaze fell on Qiao Fei's body. He was already struggling to stand up, the muscles on his face twisted together in pain. Tang Zheng, you dare hit me. F***ck, not only will I hit you, I will also kill you, you bastard. Tang Zheng put down Fang Shusha, and like a fierce tiger, he flashed, punching and kicking Qiao Fei. Qiao Fei miserably screamed, and not long after, his face was bruised and swollen. He fell to the ground, twitching, and did not have any strength to resist. Tang Zheng, don't hit him. If you continue, he will die. Fang Shusha saw the situation, and hurriedly advised. I just want to kill him. If you kill him, do you want to go to jail? If you go to jail, what will I do? Tang Zheng stopped. Tang Zheng, let's leave this place. I don't want to see him again. Fang Shusha painfully said. Okay, we will leave immediately. But Qiao Fei has done such an outrageous thing. He can avoid the death penalty, but he cannot escape punishment. Shusha, you go out for a while, I will come out immediately. I can't walk. He drugged me. Tang Jing slapped his head. He was too careless and did not notice this. He grabbed her hand and used his qi to check. Finding that the situation was not too serious, he immediately used his qi to disperse the drug. Fang Shusha suddenly found that she had regained her ability to move. She immediately opened her eyes wide and looked at Tang Zheng in amazement. She did not know how he did it. He really is my hero. You go out first. Fang Shusha obediently walked to the door. Tang Zheng grabbed Qiao Fei and lifted him up. Tang Zheng, what are you doing? Killing people is illegal. Qiao Fei fearfully shouted. Killing you is dirtying my hands. Tang Zheng quickly tore off his clothes. Ah, what are you doing? Don't tell me you have this kind of hobby. Qiao Fei's butt tightened as he panicked. Do you think everyone is as perverted as you? Qiao Fei, I have no enmity with you. You have targeted me time and time again. You even sent people to deal with my grandfather. Do you think I will just let you go? Qiao Fei's face was deathly white as he panicked and said, Tang Zheng, please let me go. I will never treat you like that again. Before, I was jealous of you. Your studies were better than mine and Fang Shusha also liked you. I was blinded by jealousy. A leopard cannot change its spots. I have already given you a chance, but you did not cherish it. Tang Zheng had already promised not to care about Qiao Fei's actions, but he was seeking his own death. This cannot be blamed on him. Seeing Tang Zheng like a killing god, Qiao Fei was terrified as he begged for mercy. Tang Zheng, please don't kill me. I have money. I will give you money. Don't you need money? Who wants your stinky money? Just accept your fate. You have done many evil deeds. This is retribution. Seeing Tang Zheng about to make a move, although he did not know how Tang Zheng was going to deal with him, he knew that Tang Zheng would definitely make him wish he was dead. Seeing that begging for mercy was futile, he became angry and roared, Tang Zheng, who do you think you are? I am the young master of a rich family. You are a poor bastard who grew up in a garbage dump. I only hate that I did not directly kill you and only made your brain stupid. What? You are saying that my injury was caused by you? Tang Zheng had long suspected this. Today, hearing Qiao Fei confirm it with his own mouth made him even angrier. That attack had changed his fate, causing him to fall from the altar to the dust and suffer the supercilious looks of others. Yes, I did it. So what? You have occupied the school's #1 position for a long time, making everyone's eyes focus on you. I do not accept this. You do not deserve this glory. So I will pull you down from the altar and make you the object of disdain. Qiao Fei seemed to have thrown caution to the wind as he spoke his true thoughts. Tang Zheng's heart moved as he asked, then the tuition fee was also done by you, right? Haha, of course. I will force you away. I will make you and Fang Shusha far away so that you will never have a chance. Tang Zheng's eyes flashed with anger. He originally only wanted to teach Qiao Fei a lesson and make him afraid of him. It seems that his thoughts were too simple. Qiao Fei may be afraid of him, but he will definitely not let this matter go. Since he has persistently targeted him for so long, then in the future he will definitely become even worse. It is easy to dodge a spear in the open, but difficult to defend against a hidden arrow. He must nip this hidden danger in the bud. Moreover, what he did to Fang Shusha is unforgivable. Dragons have reverse scales, humans also have reverse scales. Tang Zheng's family and loved ones are his reverse scales. Anyone who touches it will die. He has already been completely controlled by hatred. Kill him and everything will be over. Tian Chanzi suggested. No, if I kill him the police will intervene. I will cause trouble. I want him to beg for death and become an idiot. Do you have any ideas? This is simple. You only need to use your qi to mess around in his brain. Then his brain will turn into paste and he will naturally become an idiot. Okay, that's it. Tang Zheng does not feel that he is cruel and merciless. Because Qiao Fei has tried to kill him several times, he is still being merciful. Qiao Fei, In the future you will never be able to do evil again. Tang Zheng reached out his hand and pressed on his temple. If you have the guts, then kill me. Otherwise I will never let you go. Qiao Fei shouted fiercely. I won't kill you, because I want you to become an idiot. Just as his voice fell, Tang Zheng activated his martial arts. Idiot. Qiao Fei was very puzzled. Suddenly, his brain felt a sharp pain, as if a knife was inserted into his brain. He directly fainted. Tang Zheng checked the room to make sure that there are no clues left behind. Finally, he found Fang Shusha's phone on Qiao Fei's body. Only then did he leave the room. What did you do to him? Fang Shusha saw him come out and quickly asked. Make him unable to do evil again? You killed him? Fang Shusha's eyes widened in horror. How could I? I only knocked him unconscious. Let's go. Fang Shusha let out a sigh of relief. Even though she hates Qiao Fei, she does not want Tang Zheng's hands to be stained with blood. How did you find me? After leaving the hotel, Fang Shusha could not help but curiously ask. After calming down, she realized that Tang Zheng's sudden appearance was very mysterious. Do you still remember the jade Buddha that I gave you? I remember. I always have it with me. The jade Buddha is a treasure. Whenever you encounter an attack, I can sense it. Treasure. Fang Shusha's eyes widened. It was as if she was listening to a myth. This was beyond her understanding. Could it be that when Qiao Fei wanted to hit me, he was sent flying because of the jade Buddha? Even though Tang Zheng did not see that scene, he guessed that this should be the case. He nodded and said, yes, that's why I can sense it. However, the jade Buddha can only be used once a day. This was because Tang Zheng's martial arts were still weak. Therefore, the Imperial Spirit Formations effect was reduced. It could only be used once a day. Moreover, the Imperial Spirit Formations effect was that the stronger the enemy's attack, the stronger the counterattack. Qiao Fei only slapped her and the attack was not strong. He was only sent flying. If his attack was more intense, then he would have been directly injured or even killed. Fang Shusha's heart felt sweet. He actually gave her such a precious treasure. It was enough to see how important she was in his heart. In the future, remember to always carry it with you. Tang Zheng warned. I'll send you home. Chapter 62. Your mom just called me asking where you were and told me to quickly send you home. Tang Zheng said. Fang Shusha firmly shook her head and said, I really don't want to go home, I want to be with you. Saying this, she held on to Tang Zheng's arm. Tang Zheng was helpless as she had suffered so much today, so he really should stay by her side. Then let's go for a walk. Tang Zheng, Qiao Fei said that you stayed at Yi Dingdong's house last night? Ah! Tang Zheng was slightly stunned but did not deny it. Yes, last night something happened in the Ye family and they asked me to help, so I stayed at the Ye family. What happened? It's already been resolved. Tang Zheng would not be so stupid as to say that he and Yi Dingdang had a fake engagement, as that would simply be asking for trouble. Oh. Seeing that he did not want to say more, Fang Shusha did not force him. The two strolled along the street as the night was hazy and the lights on both sides of the road pulled their shadows long. Fang Shusha raised her head to look at Tang Zheng and said, I've noticed that you've changed a lot recently and you seem different from before. What's different? Tang Zheng pretended to be calm as he said in his heart that a woman's directness was really sensitive. I don't know, come up. Anyways, I feel that your temperament has changed and your attitude towards doing things is also different from before. Tang Zheng could not help but sigh with emotion. Imperceptibly, even he himself did not realize that there was such a big change. In the past, he only knew how to study and was the standard obedient student. Now, his actions were even more casual, revealing a free and easy feeling. However, no matter what you become, I will still like it. Fang Shusha tightly held his hand and sincerely said, Shusha, I will protect you so that you will never be bullied again. Tang Zheng's emotions fluctuated as he firmly said, I believe in you. Tomorrow, I will request to change classes. I want to be in the same class as you. I don't want to be in class 1 anymore. I don't want to see Qiao Fei again. Suddenly, Her expression darkened as she said, Xiao Fei probably won't return to school. Tang Zheng said. Why? Because I beat him into a pig's head. Tang Zheng didn't want to say that he had already turned him into an idiot. Then he will still go back after he recovers. Besides, I don't want to stay here any longer. I want to be in the same class as you. I want to be by your side. There was a deeper reason for Fang Shusha's decision. Although there was nothing going on between Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang, the two of them were deskmates after all. They spent a lot of time together, so there was no telling what might happen. It would be too late to take precautions then. This was her little thought, but the starting point was her love for Tang Zheng, so it was understandable. But will the old witch agree? It doesn't matter if she doesn't agree. My dad is a member of the school's board of directors. I still have the privilege of changing classes. Tang Zheng didn't try to persuade her again. Unknowingly, the two of them walked from the city center to the south of the city. The night grew darker and colder. Fang Shusha couldn't help but shiver. You're cold. I'll send you home. I already said that I won't go back. Fang Shusha repeated. But your family will be worried. Just as his voice fell, Tang Zheng's phone rang again. Your mom is calling. Tang Zheng picked it up and looked. Fang Shusha pursed her lips. Tang Zheng, if you don't send my daughter back, then I will call the police. Shi Mengqin sternly threatened. Tang Zheng made a helpless expression towards Fang Shusha and said, Auntie, I will immediately send Shusha home. Don't worry. At least you know your place. Hurry up. Shusha, if I don't send you back, then your mom will call the police. After hanging up the phone, Tang Zheng said. Fang Shusha unhappily said, she wants to take care of everything. Since I was young, everything was arranged by her. I am just like a puppet. Tonight, she had encountered too many things. Her emotions fluctuated greatly. She cares about you. In the future, we will have plenty of time to be together. Moreover, you don't want her opinion of me to grow bigger and bigger. Tang Zheng advised. Okay. Fang Shusha agreed. The two of them took a taxi to a luxurious villa. Go back and rest early tonight. Tomorrow, we will be together. Fang Shusha said expectantly. Ian, you should also have a good sleep. Don't think about tonight's matter anymore. Tang Zheng warned. Then I will go in. Fang Shusha hugged Tang Zheng, kissed him on the lips, and then reluctantly walked in. This scene was coincidentally seen by Shi Mengqin, who walked out. Immediately, her eyes widened and she said in a low voice, Shusha, what were you doing just now? Nothing. Fang Shusha lightly said. Good, I saw it with my own eyes. You actually dare to lie. The more you follow him, the worse you become. No, I definitely cannot let him leave like this. Shi Mengqin was flustered and exasperated. You are not allowed to go. If you dare to find trouble with him, I will never speak to you again. What? You actually dare to threaten me? I am tired. I want to go to sleep. Stop. Just what did you guys do tonight? Shi Mengqin relentlessly asked. I don't want to tell you. Fang Shusha thought of that humiliating scene and her mood immediately fell. She only wanted to take a bath and sleep, completely forgetting everything. But her cold reaction was simply disgraceful and abnormal in Shi Mengqin's eyes. How could her previously obedient daughter become so disobedient? This was definitely instigated by Tang Zheng. This little brat has unfathomable motives. He actually instigated my daughter to go against me. Preposterous, simply preposterous. The more Shi Mengqin thought, the angrier she became. If he wants to rely on the Ye family's support to do bad things to my daughter, then he is wrong. I will definitely not let him succeed. In a few days, I will bring Tang Zheng home to eat. You should prepare. Before entering, Fang Shusha's words almost caused Shi Mengqin's jaw to drop. He wants to enter the Fang family so quickly? He must be daydreaming. Whatever, I was worried that I would not have a chance to teach you a lesson. When the time comes, I will definitely embarrass you and let you know that our Fang family's threshold is very high. You simply cannot reach it. The next day, Tang Zheng discovered that Liu Qingmei's gaze towards him was somewhat strange. It was like an eagle looking at a little chick. Damn, last night she almost saw through my flaws. If I continue to tutor her, then one day I will be exposed. Even though he felt that Liu Qingmei was a very good teacher and that he could absorb a lot of pure yin energy by being with her, compared to exposing his secret, he would rather choose to maintain a certain distance from her. Tonight I must find an excuse to avoid her. Teacher Liu, come out for a moment. Suddenly, the principal called out from outside the door. Liu Qingmei stopped teaching and walked out. The entire class looked outside, not knowing what happened. A moment later, Liu Qingmei walked in, but there was an extra person behind her, Fang Shusha. Immediately, everyone's eyes widened as they looked at this beautiful school flower, not knowing what was going on. Liu Qingmei's expression was still cold, making it impossible for people to see her mood. She lightly said, "Today, our class has a new student, Fang Shusha. For the next 2 months, everyone will be studying together. My name is Fang Shusha. In the future, I will be looking forward to everyone's guidance." Fang Shusha sweetly smiled and gently said. Everyone was stunned for half a minute. What kind of song is this? Fang Shusha is the current #1 in the entire school. Why would she come to the Hell class? Some of the more quick-witted people already thought of a reason, Tang Zheng. So they all turned their heads to look at Tang Zheng in the last row. They discovered that his expression was normal, as if nothing had happened. F***ck, this must be because of Tang Zheng. His luck with women is too good. He actually made Fang Shusha change classes for him. Many people were envious, jealous, and hateful. Why didn't such a good thing fall on their heads? Takashi clenched his fist and thought. Yesterday, wasn't Xiao Fei going to make a move against Fang Shusha? Why is Fang Shusha acting like nothing happened? Could it be that Xiao Fei cancelled his plan? Now that Xiao Fei sees the cooked duck fly away, I wonder what kind of expression he will have. Suddenly, his heart lit up as a glimmer of hope appeared in his heart. Fang Shusha is here. That means Tang Zheng won't have a chance to hook up with Yi Dingdang. That means my chance has come. Thinking of this, he wanted to jump up in excitement. This time Xiao Fei is out of luck. My good luck has come. Who cares? My own happiness is more important. What does Xiao Fei's happiness have to do with me? He and Xiao Fei were jackals of the same tribe. They only got together because they were birds of a feather. There was no friendship to speak of. Naturally, he wouldn't feel sad for him. Fang Shusha really should have come to class 7 earlier. That Tang Zheng and Yi Dingdang probably didn't have a chance. But now it's not too late. Haha, Takashi's luck has changed. My spring has finally come. Where do you want to sit? Liu Qingmei asked. Of course she would welcome such a top student. She and everyone else thought that Fang Shusha came for Tang Zheng. She couldn't help but take a few more glances at Tang Zheng. How could this brat's charm be so great? Yi Dingdang and his relationship seemed to be very close. Moreover, Fang Shusha, his official girlfriend, even changed classes. Tang Zheng was simply like a love saint. Teacher Liu, can I sit there? Fang Shusha pointed at the seat in front of Tang Zheng. There was already someone sitting there. Actually, Fang Shusha wanted to sit together with Tang Zheng. However, she knew that Yi Dingdang would definitely not agree. Why would she make such an impossible request? Then you'll have to ask your classmate's opinion. Liu Qingmei pointed at the male student sitting there and said, I don't have any objections. You can sit here with me. The male student excitedly said. It was as if being chosen by Fang Shusha was his greatest honor. Fang Shusha smiled and expressed her thanks. Then she naturally sat in front of Tang Zheng, leaving her beautiful back and jet black hair to Tang Zheng. Tang Zheng didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He used to think that Fang Shusha was very obedient and timid. Only now did he realize that her courage wasn't small at all. She openly sat in front of him. At this point, even a blind person could see that she came for Tang Zheng. Feng Yong quietly gave a thumbs up to Tang Zheng. Yi Dingdang also looked at him thoughtfully and meaningfully. Such a big piece of news happened in the Hell class. It made all the students' hearts surge. But at the same time, the elite Class 1 was also experiencing a big event. Chapter 63. Fang Sheshe decisively leaving Class 1 for Class 7 was like a ruthless slap to Wu Tsuehong's face. She had expressed her contempt and disgust for Class 7 on more than one occasion, but today, the most outstanding student in her class actually took the initiative to transfer to Class 7. This was an undisguised slap to her face. Wu Tsuehong's anger burned as she really had the urge to kill. The entire class was silent out of fear that they would be implicated. Suddenly Wu Tsuehong's gaze fell on another empty seat, Qiao Fei. "Where did Qiao Fei go?" she unhappily asked. After being silent for a long time, someone finally carefully said, "Qiao Fei did not come today." "Did not come?" Wu Tsuehong's face became increasingly ashen, but she did not think too much about it as Qiao Fei was not only the class monitor but also his family background. Even if he really played truant, she would not be able to do anything to him. "Study for this class yourself." Wu Tsuehong did not have the desire to teach as she coldly threw down these words and walked out of the classroom. Just at this moment a middle-aged woman dressed in luxurious clothing walked in with two strong men behind her who loudly shouted, "Not a single one is allowed to leave." Wu Tsuehong of course recognized this person as she was Qiao Fei's mother. Wu Tsuehong hurriedly went up to greet her as she forced out a smile and said, "Madam Qiao, why did you come?" Madam Qiao coldly looked at Wu Tsuehong and with an ashen face said, "You are also not allowed to leave." Wu Tsuehong was suddenly startled as she did not know why the other party was so angry. She hurriedly said, "Madam Qiao, did something happen?" "Of course something has happened, something big has happened. Someone has grown the guts of a leopard and actually dared to harm my son. I will definitely drag this person out," Madam Qiao said with a murderous look. Wu Tsuehong was shocked when she heard this and asked with concern, "Qiao Fei is injured? Is his injury serious? What is going on?" "I also want to ask you what is going on. You are his teacher and yesterday after school he did not return home and today he was found injured. He is still unconscious and is currently undergoing emergency treatment," Madam Qiao sternly asked. Wu Tsuehong said in her heart, "What does this have to do with me?" But she couldn't directly add fuel to the fire and said, "I'm also very concerned about Qiao Fei's injury, but we should first figure out what happened. I remember that he was fine yesterday after school." "Then tell us what happened after school. You are his teacher and classmate, so you must know the truth. If you don't tell us today, then no one is allowed to leave the classroom." Madam Qiao's request was unreasonable, causing all of the students to glare at her. "What are you glaring at? My son is injured. You are all suspects. If you know the truth, say it quickly. Otherwise, you will have to bear the consequences." "Are you being unreasonable? We weren't the ones who hurt Qiao Fei, so what right do you have to question us?" Someone retorted. "Why? My family is a board member of the school. Anyway, if we don't get to the bottom of this today, no one can leave the classroom." Wu Tsuehong felt a headache coming on. Fang Sheshe's matter had just passed and now this happened. Could it be that this year was really unlucky for her to have so many troublesome matters come knocking on her door? She suppressed the anger in her heart and said, "Madam Qiao, this is definitely a misunderstanding. Students, don't complain. Everyone cooperate and recall if you saw Qiao Fei yesterday after school. Qiao Fei purposely avoided everyone yesterday after school, so how could he be discovered?" Seeing everyone shake their heads, Madam Qiao became unhappy. She thought that these students were not cooperating and said, "I don't believe that I can't deal with a group of students. I'll interrogate you one by one. We are not criminals. You have no right to interrogate us." The students were young and full of vigor. They were all the pearls of their palms at home. When had they ever suffered such humiliation? They all retorted, causing the atmosphere to become tense. Madam Qiao was not afraid at all. Instead, she looked at them with ridicule. Suddenly, her eyes fell on two empty seats. One of them was her son's, but what about the other one? This meant that there were not all students in the classroom. "Call all the students in your class over. Not a single person can be missing." There must be someone who knows the details. Madame Chiao ordered arrogantly as if Wu Tsuehong was one of her subordinates. My class's students are all here. Liar, there are clearly 2 empty seats. Oh, the other empty seat is a student who just transferred to another class. Just transferred? To be in such a hurry to transfer, there must be a problem. Who knows, maybe my son's injury is related to her. Let's go find this student. Madame Chiao's eyes lit up as if she had discovered a new continent. Wu Tsuehong originally wanted to persuade her, but after thinking about it, Fang Shusha was no longer in her class, so why should she speak good words for her? It would be best if Madame Chiao went to cause a ruckus. That way, she could also make Liu Qingmai lose face, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. That student transferred to Class 7. The worst Class 7? Madame Chiao said in surprise as she clearly knew of Class 7's reputation. There must be a problem with this person. Transferring to a trash class like Class 7, how could she be a good student? My son's injury must be related to her. Let's go to Class 7. The 3 of them rushed to Class 7. Wu Tsuehong hesitated for a moment before also chasing after them. The other students looked at each other in dismay. Just what kind of trouble was this? Liu Qingmai was in the middle of her lesson when she heard a ruckus outside. Then the classroom door was heavily pushed open and fiercely hit the wall, making a loud noise. Liu Qingmai immediately raised her eyebrows as she stared at the door with an unkind expression. Coincidentally, she saw Madame Chiao aggressively walk in with 2 strong men. Get out, I'm in the middle of a lesson, Liu Qingmai said without any trace of politeness. Madame Chiao looked at Liu Qingmai and couldn't help but feel ashamed of her inferiority. At her age, what she hated the most was seeing others younger and prettier than her. However, there was no doubt that Liu Qingmai was younger and prettier than her. In front of Liu Qingmai, she was like an old tree branch. Thus, she didn't have a good expression towards Liu Qingmai and said, "You still want to go to class? No way. Hand over the student that just transferred from Class 1. Liu Qingmai was secretly astonished. Just who was this crazy woman and why was she looking for Fang Shusha? Who are you? Liu Qingmai asked. Hung, who am I? I am someone you can't afford to provoke. Let me tell you, hurry up and call that person out. Otherwise, I will make sure you lose your job. Madame Chiao said overbearingly. Liu Qingmai obviously saw that her background wasn't ordinary, but how could she be afraid of her? She jokingly said, "You want me to lose my job? You don't have the qualifications. My family is a board member of this school. You say I don't have the qualifications?" Liu Qingmei's expression didn't change as she said, "So what if you are a board member? I am in class, so even if you are the emperor, you still have to get out." Liu Qingmai was a person who would become stronger when faced with a strong opponent. Madame Chiao wanted to use her status to pressure her, but she didn't fall for it. Seeing the unyielding Liu Qingmai, Madame Chiao was both angry and amused. In all these years, no one had dared to speak to her like this. She directly walked in front of the male student and fiercely slapped the table and said, "Tell me, who is the student that just transferred from Class 1? Who do you think you are? Why should I tell you?" The male student looked at her with disdain and completely ignored her. Class 7 couldn't be compared to Class 1. The students' bones were filled with pride and they also had the rebellious nature of young people. Even the teachers were unable to subdue them, so how could they be afraid of a woman who suddenly ran in and made a fuss? Madame Chiao angrily said, "You are expelled. Immediately scram. I think you should be the one to scram." Liu Qingmai walked over. "I will say it again. Please leave my classroom. I want to go to class." "What kind of class is this? Who is the one that just transferred from Class 1? Stand up for this old lady." Madame Chiao slapped the table and angrily roared. Many people subconsciously looked towards Fang Shusha. They all wanted to know what kind of enmity she had with this crazy woman for her to actually make this crazy woman so angry. However, no one said anything about Fang Shusha. Instead, they all angrily stared at Madame Chiao. Seeing Madame Chiao being rude to Liu Qingmai again and again, many people angrily stood up. This anger quickly accumulated and finally exploded into a shocking roar, scram. The sound was so loud that the floor seemed to tremble. Madame Chow was frightened and retreated 3 steps. If not for 2 strong men supporting her, she would have already fallen to the ground. She was both frightened and frightened. Her chest was heaving up and down as she gasped for breath and said, "Rebel, you guys really rebel. You don't want to talk, right? I have a way to make you talk. You guys go grab a person and interrogate him. I want to see how long you guys can keep your mouths shut." 2 strong men flashed and grabbed a male student. They wanted to pull him out of his seat, but the male student held onto the table with a red face. "Stop!" Liu Qingmai coldly shouted. She wanted to stop them but was blocked by one of the strong men. "If you don't cooperate, then this is your fate," Madame Chow arrogantly said. "My students, no one can touch them. You will pay the price for what you have done today," Liu Qingmai said in a powerful and resonant voice. The classroom was bustling with noise and excitement. Suddenly, someone shouted, "Let's fight it out with them." A few male students raised their chairs and were about to rush forward. Just at this time, Fang Shusha stood up and said, "The person you are looking for is me. Let go of that student." Shua. The noise disappeared in an instant, and everyone looked at her at the same time. "Fang Shusha, don't stand up. There is no reason to talk to these people. Let's chase them out." Someone shouted. "Right, chase them out." Madame Chow stared at Fang Shusha. Another girl who was younger and more beautiful than her. This caused her jealousy to increase. She waved her hand and said, "Grab her for me." Chapter 64. Fang Shusha did not retreat or dodge. Under this kind of attack, she was like a rootless duckweed without any ability to resist. But she was not afraid, not even the slightest bit of fear. Instead, she was filled with courage because there was a person standing behind her, a person she could entrust her life to, Tang Zheng. Just now, when Madame Chow barged in and caused a ruckus, the 2 of them guessed that it might be related to Qiao Fei. Seeing that Madame Chow actually wanted to harm other students, Fang Shusha immediately stood up. The sturdy man's hand was about to grab her shoulder when suddenly, a hand appeared without any warning. Then, the sturdy man felt as if his hand had touched a hard piece of steel and was fiercely bounced back. He felt a burning pain and felt as if his bones were about to break. Tang Zheng had already stood up and stared at the sturdy man. When their eyes met, the sturdy man angrily shouted, "Who are you?" "Scram!" Tang Zheng shouted. The opponent was not even a martial artist, so he had no interest in making a move. The sturdy man's feeling was different. He felt an extremely dangerous aura from Tang Zheng's body. Although the other party's performance was no different from the other students, he still had this kind of feeling in his heart. Even he himself felt that it was ridiculous. "Why aren't you making a move?" Madame Chow asked. Bang! The sturdy man knew that he could not stay in a stalemate, so he made a move. His fist went straight for Tang Zheng's face. Bang! Before anyone could see it clearly, they saw the burly man softly fall down like a dead fish. Madame Chow finally realized that something was wrong and shouted, "Good, you still dare to hit people. Hurry up and capture that girl and boy." The other sturdy man also rushed over, but when he reached Tang Zheng, he followed in his footsteps and fell to the ground like a dead fish. Everyone stared with wide eyes at Tang Zheng as if they were looking at an alien. This was the first time they saw Tang Zheng make a move. They were all shocked because they did not see how Tang Zheng made a move. In their minds, a word quickly flashed: expert. Teenagers all worshipped the strong, and many of them immediately cheered. Madame Chow was so angry that her face turned white. No matter how stupid she was, she knew that she had encountered a tough opponent. "Brat, you dare to hit people, you're fired," Madame Chow said in a threatening manner. Tang Zheng gave her a look of disdain and did not pay her any attention. A strange light flashed through Liu Qingmei's eyes as she glanced at Tang Zheng. Then, she stared at Madame Chow and said, "You brought people to school to commit murder, so don't even think about leaving. This matter must be clearly investigated by the police." "Haha, call the police." "Good, someone injured my son, Qiao Fei." Now that he is lying in the hospital, I also want to call the police. Without anyone to rely on, Madame Chow was deeply afraid that this group of fearless students would gang up on her. When she heard that they were going to call the police, she couldn't wait. You can't call the police. Suddenly, the principal walked in and anxiously stopped them. We're all on the same side. This is just a misunderstanding. Let's clear things up. The principal already felt a headache coming on. He was the principal specially hired by the school board, so of course he knew Madame Chow, so he couldn't let this situation escalate. Who is on the same side as her, principal? She openly brought people to school to commit murder. This kind of person must be severely punished. Liu Qingmai said straightforwardly. The principal bitterly smiled and said, Teacher Liu, please calm down. This is Chow Fei's mother. The Chow family is a board member, so how could she bring people to school to commit murder? This is definitely a misunderstanding. Moreover, according to my understanding, Chow Fei is indeed injured and hospitalized, which is why Madame Chow is so agitated. Chow Fei is hospitalized. Liu Qingmai had of course heard of Chow Fei's name. Chow Fei's family background was illustrious, and his grades were also very good. However, she heard that he was a bit bossy and domineering, causing many students to fear him. My son was injured after school yesterday, and this matter cannot be separated from a certain student. I suspect that student is the biggest suspect. Moreover, that boy actually hit people. This kind of student must be expelled. Madame Chow saw that the principal had arrived, so she became confident again. She placed her hands on her hips and said domineeringly. The principal glanced at Fang Shusha, and his forehead immediately broke out in cold sweat. If it was someone else, he would have the authority to deal with them, but Fang Shusha was not someone easy to deal with. The Fang family was also a board member, so he couldn't afford to offend them. Thus, he hurriedly tried to smooth things over. Madame Chow, is there a misunderstanding here? Seeing that the principal actually sided with the other side in the blink of an eye, Madame Chow became angry. She thought that she couldn't count on the principal today. Once this matter was over, she would definitely get rid of him and find another obedient principal. Misunderstanding? Then I'll have the police come and see if this is a misunderstanding. Saying this, she actually dialed a number and loudly said, Chief Deng, I'm at Pengcheng International School. Come over, I have some matters for you to settle. Okay, I'll wait for you. After hanging up the phone, she looked at the crowd with contempt and said, the police will be here soon. You guys just wait and tell them. The principal wiped the cold sweat off his forehead and said, Madame Chow, there is no need for the police to get involved in this matter. We can settle it ourselves. I don't need you to settle it. I'll let the police handle it. Let me tell you, before the police come, that girl and boy are not allowed to leave. Today, there must be an explanation. Principal, letting these kind of people come to our school to cause trouble is simply bringing shame to our school. Liu Qingmai said. The principal bitterly smiled and advised, Teacher Liu, don't say too much. Seeing this deadlock, Fang Shusha asked in a low voice, what should we do? Don't worry, they don't know anything so they won't be able to do anything. Tang Zheng comforted her. How about I call home? The Chow family is bullying others, but our family is not so easy to bully. Fang Shusha said. Last night, Fang Shusha was the victim, but now that Madame Chow was making such a big fuss, it was as if she was the perpetrator, making her very angry. However, she did not want to make the matter of last night public. After all, it was not a good thing and related to her innocence. Even if nothing happened, if other people found out, there would definitely be rumors. For the time being, they don't have any evidence. Even if the police came, it would be useless. Later on, as long as we say that the two of us were together last night, they won't be able to do anything. Tang Zheng warned. Ian, I understand. Yi Dingdang saw the two whispering and suspiciously asked, what are you two chattering about? Nothing much. What happened to Chow Fei? Who knows? Tang Zheng shrugged his shoulders and feigned ignorance. In reality, he was the clearest about Chow Fei's situation. You two come over here. The principal waved towards Tang Zheng and Fang Shusha and said. The two of them walked over and the principal earnestly said, "Last night, student Xiao Fei was injured. Do you know who did it?" "I don't know," Tang Zheng bluntly said. "I'm not asking you, stinking brat." Madame Qiao scolded and stared at Fang Shusha and said, "What did you do last night?" "Nothing." Nothing. Who do you think you are lying to? Hurry up and tell the truth, otherwise you will suffer," Madame Qiao fiercely said. Seeing this, the principal advised, "Madame Qiao, they are still children. Let's have a better attitude." Madame Qiao glared at the principal, not understanding why his attitude today was so abnormal. It was as if he was secretly helping outsiders. Since she said she didn't do anything, then she really didn't do anything. Liu Qingmai said, "Children these days are full of lies. If you believe her, pigs can climb trees. Let me ask you, you said you didn't do anything bad. Do you have a witness?" She was with me last night. I can prove it," Tang Zheng said. Liu Qingmai looked at Tang Zheng in astonishment, thinking that he was clearly tutoring her last night, so how could he be with Fang Shusha? But she didn't point it out. "You two were together?" Madame Qiao stared at Tang Zheng. How could Tang Zheng be afraid of her completely unthreatening gaze as he lightly said, "Yes. Now you have nothing to say. Wrongly accusing my student. I will sue you for slander. Wrongly accused or not, the police will know when they come." Madame Qiao didn't want to give up so easily. She had to find the culprit who injured her son. This way, when her son wakes up, she can resolve the hatred in her heart. Just as she finished speaking, several policemen boldly and decisively walked in and waved their hands. "Everyone make way. What are you all doing here? Chief Deng, you came just in time. My family's Xiao Fei was injured last night and is currently in the hospital for emergency treatment. I suspect that it has something to do with this female student." Madame Qiao bluntly said. "Which eye of yours saw that your son's injury has something to do with Fang Shusha?" Liu Qingmai angrily asked. This kind of thing doesn't need to be seen to know. Chief Deng, bring them all back. We will know once we interrogate them," Madame Qiao ordered. Deng Maocai originally thought it was just a small matter, but when he saw Liu Qingmai, he instantly recognized her. This was because a beauty of this level was really rare, and his impression of her from that meeting was too deep. When Tang Zheng was caught by Xiao Fei, it was Deng Maocai who single-handedly arranged it. In the end, he even found his own subordinate Liu Gang to be the scapegoat. Only then did he keep his position as chief. The most important thing was that the picture of him and his lover was taken by Tang Zheng. He never would have thought that today he would be dragged by Xiao Fei's mother. Moreover, it seemed that he would have to face Liu Qingmai again. F***CK, why am I so unlucky? Are the Qiao family people my nemesis? I have only been quiet for a few days and now they are here again. A few days ago, Deng Maocai was on tenterhooks. He thought that Tang Zheng would release his picture, but after discovering that there was no movement, he guessed that the other side was soft-hearted and let him go. He secretly rejoiced. Suddenly, Deng Maocai's pupils shrunk as he saw Tang Zheng. His heart thumped and he could not help but cry out in grief. "Why am I so unlucky? Why is it him again?" Cough cough. Deng Maocai dryly coughed twice to cover up the shock in his heart. He pretended to be calm and said, "The police need evidence to handle a case and do not rely on words. We will investigate this matter and do not need other people to tell us what to do." What? Madame Qiao was not an idiot. She could clearly tell that Deng Maocai was not speaking up for her. For a moment she was stunned. Did the sun rise from the west today? How come the reinforcements that she brought over are all traitors? You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.